This is the plaintiff, Doris Cochran. She says she makes ugly Christmas sweaters and sold one to the defendant who now refuses to pay her, even though she said she loved it. That's right, the woman's now claiming she's embarrassed to wear the thing and has been emotionally damaged. Oh, brother, she's suing for $300, the cost of the Christmas sweater. This is the defendant, Catherine Andrea. She says she told the plaintiff she was going to an ugly Christmas sweater contest, and the woman told her she could make a sweater that would win the $1,000 prize for being the ugliest. The woman made her the raunchiest thing she's ever seen. Phallic elves, boob ornaments, and Santa doing some untoward things. Over $100? Yeah, right. She's accused of having no holiday cheer.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Doris Cochran, you are suing your, I guess, former friend, Catherine Andrea, for $300 that you say she owes you for a sweater you worked on for her. Tell me what happened.
That's correct. Hi, Your Honor. I'm a single mom of two. I've been making ugly Christmas sweaters for the last 6 years.
Ugly Christmas sweaters?
Yes. Okay. I've been selling them in local stores up until the pandemic, and then things just, kind of died down, so I've been selling them to family and friends and locally. So an ugly Christmas sweater contest was coming up, a party that we were all going to. Me and Catherine have been friends for about a year now, hanging out, going out to clubs, karaoke.
How did you two meet?
We met through like a Facebook meetup group.
Really?
Yeah.
That's out there?
That's
a great idea.
It's so cool. So you meet like new people and everybody gets together, and so we kind of just been like hangout buddies, I guess you'd call it, since we met.
All right. Are these examples of the sweaters you're talking about?
So these are other sweaters that I had sold in the past to some of the stores, the local stores. I started progressing where my sweaters started to become a little more phallic because people thought they were very fun. So I would be making sweaters, with boob ornaments and, gloves on the chest area and, handprints like on the back where the butt would be. And so they,
You found that those sold very well.
They sold very well.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just like flying, off the
And
racks
how were
of the
you?
store.
How were you selling them online?
So I was selling them at two local stores.
Originally.
Originally.
So even the raunchy ones were selling at stores. Okay.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
So it was selling better, I guess, at the stores.
Sure.
Like because. Not everybody wants a wild sweater like that. But, me and her hang out and party, and so for a whole year.
So whose idea was it for her to enter an ugly sweater contest and for you to make the sweater for her?
Well, she already knew that I made sweaters, but we both knew that there was going to be a contest. I, just wore just a regular. I wanted her to win, so I went all out for her, and she gave
but did she say to you, "Will you make me a sweater?" And then did you tell her the price is going to be $300?
Yes.
All right, and then both of you are figuring she's going to win because the sweater that you made was pretty outlandish. Where was this party? The contest?
It was at our friend's house, Matt's house.
Okay. And so did she tell you what she wanted?
No, she didn't. She did say she wanted like candy canes on it. She said, I could do whatever I wanted. She totally gave me complete creative control. She knew, that I make some pretty wild ones. So I wanted her to win, and I went over the top.
Did the subject of raunchiness come up?
Not really, but I mean, she's familiar with my work, so.
Okay. All right, so, and how is she familiar with your work?
Well, I mean, she's seen pictures, I've showed her pictures before.
Right.
She's seen, pictures of my kids in them too, and.
Well, I presume your kids aren't wearing the raunchy ones, but maybe I'm making a lot of presumptions here. All right, so she just says, go nuts.
Yes.
And, right, so you go nuts, and then when do you show her the sweater?
Okay, so I had only like a couple of weeks, and so I I purchase all these different decorations and ornaments, and they can get quite expensive at, certain stores and how elaborate it is. So I had about a couple weeks. Took me about 10 hours to make. So I worked on it a little bit, when I could over the course of a couple of weeks. The plan was that I was going to meet her at the party, and that she was going to bring $300 cash after I gave her the sweater. That never happened. We get to the party, we go into the bathroom, she puts it on. She said she loved it, and next thing you know we're hanging out. I didn't really press her for the money at the time. I figured she would give it to me at some point, and then, we were just drinking, and I could back up. You want me to tell you everything that happened?
Yeah.
So the contest happened, and of course she didn't win. It was some other girl in like a really cheap sweater, like just very generic. I mean, it was unbelievable. I could
Because
tell.
let's see the sweater you made for her. I need to see this now. Will you hold it up, please?
Let me make sure I have it situated the right way.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. I don't suppose I could get you to put it on, can I? Would you have an objection to that? That's fine, you're hesitating. Did you have an objection that day, or did you put it on that day?
Oh, I put it on that day, and I was a little bit uncomfortable, but I kind of didn't want to say it. I wanted to be enthusiastic and, definitely maintain that good attitude for the contest and all that, and have my shot at winning. It's horrible.
Well, it's an ugly sweater contest. What is this supposed to be? What is it supposed to be?
Actually,
a penis?
You can squeak it. Yeah. And you can squeak it too. So, yeah, there were a lot of guys touching her.
Yes, and that's
That
the thing
night.
that had me just kind of feeling a certain way, is because it was all these strange bottom of the barrel, just drunk guys, just all coming up to me, just way so many of them, being like, "Oh wow, this is so cool! Oh wow, I love your sweater."
Okay, but if some guy comes up to me and is going to touch me, he's going to get up off the floor and tell people he fell. So, in other words, you don't need to let them touch you. You could stop them from touching you.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know that anything about that says touch me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's raunchy for sure, but
Yeah, 'cause that's what had me so uncomfortable. I was just like, whoa, this is way too much. But
okay, but you were happy to wear it. You participated in the contest in it.
I was like,
And the
twitched
contest
like
prize was
happy.
$1,000, right?
What is it?
The contest prize was $1,000.
Yes.
All right, and who was voting? Who was making the decision on the sweaters?
It was just Matt, the owner of the house.
And he
everybody
picked-
paid like a $5 fee to get in. And,
Right,
yeah.
and then he ends up picking. Does anybody have a picture of the sweater that won?
No.
Oh, that would be
but
awesome.
It was, yeah.
You could take it off. You don't need to keep that on.
It was so generic.
Right.
I think
he was just trying to get her number.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I think.
All right.
Yeah.
So now, when Ms. Andrea doesn't win, do you talk to her after that?
No, she was already kind of pissed at that point that she didn't win the contest.
Right.
Next thing you know I think I went to go get a drink or something. It wasn't even but like a couple of minutes. Next thing you know I can't find her. Matt tells me that she stormed out and she's already gone. So at this point,
How many people were at this party?
Gosh, oh goodness, a lot.
100 or 20?
No, probably closer to 100. Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. Big old house party.
Yeah.
Huge
Okay,
house
go on.
party. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But I
the
texted
next
her.
day, you text her and you
Yes.
say, "I need to get paid."
Yeah.
And what does she say to you?
Yeah, she's just like, no, I was mortified. She's like, I'm not paying for the sweater. That's not what I asked for. And I'm like, well,
What did
didn't
you ask for, Ms. Andrea?
I wanted something wild, crazy, fun. I said candy canes, but I didn't mean candy cane penises. It was.
Oh, you should have been more specific.
How would she know?
Okay, but you know that she specializes in raunchy. So did you tell her, I don't want you to do raunchy?
I'd never seen anything this raunchy. I'd never seen anything so off the wall that it was.
So when you
something
saw
I'd been
it, did you
comfortable with.
reject it? Did you say, no, I'm not going to, no, this is not, I can't do this, no?
I was just kind of like, Yeah, thank you.
You told her you loved it.
Yeah.
And you did love it. You loved it when you saw it.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I love it. You know, it was one of those.
You just now don't love it because you didn't win the $1,000 and because guys were touching you all night, apparently.
Yes. It was the fact that the guys were touching me, all these weird guys making me uncomfortable. And then...
You know, you can stop that, though. You know that, right? Like...
Yeah, it was kind of like, but it was one of those. Like, you know, I was kind of concerned for safety, but...
how concerned for safety could you possibly have been? You could take the sweater off.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
but so you were at a party, you were having a good time. Were you drinking too?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you don't win, and is it true you stormed off mad?
I did storm off mad.
Because I would expect you to win too.
Yeah.
Right, like if you had won, would you have paid her?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay, so then please tell me what your defense is then, because she can't guarantee you're going to win. That depends on who Matt wants to meet, apparently. Whatever Matt's criteria for the evening appears to be or whatever. So she can't guarantee you're going to win. You probably should have won. You probably think you should have won. You probably agree you should have won. And then you'd be rolling in dough and we wouldn't be here. But you can't possibly think that your obligation to pay her depends on whether you win.
Oh, because that's the thing, is when we were talking about, you know, the sweater and, you know, her making it and me buying it for the $300, she said, you're guaranteed to win this. You know, you're going to win this contest. And that's the thing where I was just like, well, you know, I'm pretty sure, because it's like...
Unless she's the judge of the contest, how on earth could she guarantee... Did you guarantee she'd win the contest?
I have psychic powers. No.
Right.
No.
So that doesn't sound believable to me. I just think you're angry because you didn't win. And you're wondering when you're going to wear that again.
Yes.
Although, frankly, you know, depending on... I mean, I wouldn't wear that in... Well, that's not true. My kids aren't kids anymore. I might wear that in front of my... No, I wouldn't wear... But you know...
it makes noises.
Huh?
And it makes noises.
And it makes noises. No, yeah, that was the clincher. Not Santa upside down on my crotch. That wasn't the clincher.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, you got to pay her, Andrea, because a contract is a contract, and it doesn't change because you don't like you change your mind about the wisdom of the contract. You know, you can't possibly have thought that the only way you'd pay her is if you won, just because she says, oh, it's going to be great, you're going to win. Even if she did say you're going to win, you know she can't control whether you win. You're not naive. You're not a child. And, you know, the idea that, oh, men were touching me and that's her fault. No, men are touching and that's the men's fault. Let's start with that. And then it's your fault for not stopping it because you really, you don't have to stand there and be touched, you know. So, but it's predominantly the man's fault. And, you know, all you got to do is stop the behavior. Bad behavior goes on when it's unstopped. And what we all have to realize is nip it in the bud, right? And it has nothing to do with the sweater. And you know she makes raunchy sweaters. And if you tell her you've got all creative control, you're not telling her, hey, make it a rated G sweater, because I know what you normally do. So no, you need to pay her $300, verdict for the plaintiff.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's finally going to get that $300 for that ugly sweater, which was really very ugly. Ms. Andrea, let me ask you something. The sweater really was pretty bad, but in your mind, was it just not bad enough, or was it too bad? How do you respond?
It was too bad. It was completely... I'd never seen anything so raunchy in my life. Like, and I had no reason to think that it would be this raunchy and this bad. And that's the thing that had me so uncomfortable.
Well, let me ask you something. You had formed a friendship with Ms. Cochran. I gather this has been really injured by this. Am I right? Are you still friends?
Not friends at this time. It's like, I'm trying to think about what kind of circumstances that our friendship could get patched up, but it would be really hard.
I mean, that's really shame over a silly thing like a stupid sweater, don't you think?
I guess that's a true point. But still, it was embarrassing, and there were a lot of people just groping me and making me so uncomfortable at that party.
Well, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. The exit's on your left there. You got to pay her the $300, and who knows if you'd be friends again or not. I don't know.
I guess we'll see what happens in the future, and thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. All right, let's see what Ms. Cochran has to say. She's on her way out of the courtroom now. She was very creative, obviously. Is that a pretty good example of the kinds of sweaters you normally make, or was this overly raunchy?
I mean, I do make raunchy sweaters and I do make phallic sweaters, but yeah, I went over the top. Yeah, I wanted her to win.
Were you disappointed that you didn't win? We didn't hear that.
Right, yes. Yeah, I was very disappointed. I mean, that's like my work, you know? And I put a lot of blood and sweat and tears in that, so yeah, I was very disappointed.
All right, bottom line is, are you upset that the friendship has obviously been hurt to a degree?
Yes, yeah, I want to mend our friendship. I'm hoping that coming here, we can now move forward. You know, she can still wear that sweater now every year. So, yeah, I hope our friendship can continue.
Well, good luck to you, all right?
Thank
you
you.
very much. Good luck, and you get your $300. Finally.
Yeah,
Better
finally.
late than never.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good enough. You're welcome. All right, Harvey.
Well, Doug, it could have been that the defendant could have put in the contract that the only way the plaintiff would get paid is if the defendant won that contest. The fact is it was not in the contract, and therefore, by losing, that doesn't negate the fact that the defendant owed the plaintiff money.
This is the plaintiff, Maria Palaio. She says she's known the defendants for about 18 years, so she thought she was doing a good deed when she lent them money around the holidays because they found themselves in a bad situation. She loaned them the money to show compassion, but they're taking advantage of her kindness. For goodness sakes, they can afford a pack of cigarettes a day each and some new phones, but they can't afford to pay her back the money she loaned them? Please. She's suing for $1,570 for the return of her hard-earned money. These are the defendants, Jennifer and Christopher Warren. Jennifer says the plaintiff has a good heart, and she gave them the money as a Christmas present and told them both, don't worry about it. Well, they were completely floored by the gesture and very grateful, to say the least. But now, after 2 years, the plaintiff is seeking repayment, claiming the money she gave them was a loan? Who does that? They're accused of taking, but not returning.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, so you two met when your sons were in kindergarten, and now they're in high school. What grade are they in?
They're in ninth grade.
Ninth grade. All right. At the time, is that how you met, because your kids were in kindergarten together?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You became friends. Your children became friends. Were they best friends?
I wouldn't exactly call that.
Okay, but they lived in close proximity?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no value on that. You can't place a value on that because now you have carpool, right?
Yeah,
so the kids would carpool to school together. You guys would take turns. And this went on for how long?
So in kindergarten, the boys knew each other, but after a year, that's when we met. We lost touch because basically my son has learning disabilities and his services were going to get cut, so we got transferred to a different school.
Oh.
So we lost touch and we didn't reconnect until sixth grade.
Okay.
Because the kids ended up going to the same school, and it just so
Got it.
happened, you know, we saw each other and the boys had all classes together except one.
Okay.
And we kind of like, you know, helped each other out. You know, she would take them to school in the mornings and I would pick up the boys in the afternoon. She didn't have daycare and,
Okay.
you know, so forth. There was a lot of, you know, like love and friendship there.
Right.
We really helped each other out. My dog passed away. He didn't pass away, sorry. He got hit by a car. You know, her and her son were there for me. I mean, it was really tough. He saw us through, you know, the dog through rehab. Her father, like, was really ill and he eventually passed, and I was there for her. So there was a lot of trust and friendship built there, and it's sad that we've come to this. You know,
How did we get here? What
well,
happened?
so it was around June of 2017, I think it was, when things started to get really bad. The defendant's husband basically quit his job with no backup job, and you know, he just got tired of it. And so the defendant was really stressed out because how are we going to make this work? You know, I don't make that much money. So, you know, I was there to help her out and basically.
As in what?
Well, the way I helped her out is I basically said, you know, I've got some extra money from tax returns. I want to do some stuff for my house, and I know her husband is very handy. I said, you know, he can paint the rooms. You know, I need to like increase the height of the doorways, you know, for all 3 rooms. And I said I could pay him for that. And she goes, that helps. You know, and she kept getting frustrated. So for months, it took him forever to finish that job. And I really couldn't say anything because, you know, like I said, they were really down on their luck and I was feeling really bad.
Did you pay him?
I did.
How?
And when I paid, I tried to pay him in check. She insisted. You know, they closed down his bank account because he's overdrawn, severely overdrawn, so the bank has closed him. Can you please give me cash?
How much cash?
So I gave him $1,000 for each of those rooms.
How much cash total did you give him?
$3,000.
Did you get a receipt?
No, ma'am.
When was that?
That was around, it started around the summer of 2017, and it didn't finish till almost March of 2018.
Then what happens?
So, you know, it was just really difficult. I mean, there was a part
At this point, the kids are still friends.
They're still friends, but, you know, the friendship, they were spending 5 to 7 days a week at my house because they really didn't have anywhere to go. So, you know, and her husband was just going fishing and doing his thing and working on my house whenever. And it started to get frustrated because I said, I could have painted that and finished it by now. You know, he told me, just buy the material and I'll do it. And so here it is now in October, still.
Of what year?
Of the same year, 2017. Nothing's happening, you know, and he's still not finished, but he's finished most of it. And then we start heading into the holidays.
Okay, I'm past that. Let's move forward from that.
Okay. Well, so the payment of the loans, it happened.
Oh, it happens in between that time?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
So in October, you know, I was already starting to feel really sketchy, but then around the November timeframe, the defendant came to me and said she was really stressed out because they were getting eviction notices. And, you know, the defendant's husband kept saying, don't worry about it, they can't kick us out, it's a long process. So I just felt horrible just seeing her cry and just seeing her stressed out. And I had a little extra money and I gave it to her like about a week before Christmas. And I have copies of the checks that I wrote to her. And it was a week before Christmas because the thought that my son's best friend is not going to have a holiday, they had a major falling out with their family, so they had nowhere to go and they couldn't ask their family for any money. Their family was treating them really horribly. They had nothing and she couldn't go to her mother for any money. So when I handed her the check for $235.
How much?
$235, and I have a copy of that as well.
Okay.
I gave her a check. I said, here, because I know you're short. She goes, thank you, this means so much. She goes, now I just have to think about the next month's rent is now also due. So I said, you know what, don't worry about it. Let me give this to you. So I gave her the $1,335. She said, as soon as Chris files the suit, she said, you're going to be the first person we pay. And then she started crying. She said, no one's ever done anything this nice for me. And I trusted her. So I said, fine, as soon as Chris files it.
Was the $235 a gift and the $1,335 was a loan?
The $235 was because she said she was short on November's.
So was it a loan?
It was a loan.
Did you tell her this is a loan?
Yes.
What was the discussion you guys had about how and when that would be paid back?
I said, you pay me when Chris files his suit and wins the case. He had a really strong case. He'd been talking about it. She says, I promise you're going to be the first person. She goes, I have one Macy's bill, and after that, you are going to be the first person
now
we
you're
pay.
the second person. All right. And that all happened in December of 2017?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then in March of 2018, if they owe you money, why do you pay them $3,000?
No, I paid them $3,000 before that.
When did you pay the $3,000?
When he started the work, because they said they really needed it for their rent, and he just did not want to go and get a job.
You don't have a receipt for it? Do you have bank records to show that you pulled $3,000 out to pay it in cash?
Not on me.
But you can get them?
I can.
All right. Do you have...
It wasn't all up front. I paid him $1,000 each time. There were 3 rooms total.
Okay. So I need to know when you paid, how much you paid, and what you paid for. I'm not sure you're able to show me that because nothing's in writing, and I'm not going to see a chunk $3,000 paid,
right?
Pulled out. I'm going to see what? A little bit here, a little bit there. I can't figure it out that way, can I?
Right, and I wasn't suing for that. I mean, that was just, I tried to help him out with, because they
Well, the problem you have is that that's their defense. Now, let me hear from you.
Hi. It was never mentioned as a loan. It was a gift. And she has said,
Why would anybody rain $1,700, $1,500 on you? No, none of my friends do that.
she said, word, verbatim, my father has always told me, never give out any money that you don't expect in return. This is my gift to you.
Never give out any money, what?
That you don't expect to return to you.
I
Which means-
think you're saying the opposite of what you mean to say. Never give out any money expecting it to be returned.
Thank you.
Okay.
And she said, this is a gift to you. I want you to have a good Christmas. This is a gift. It was never mentioned as a loan, ever. That's why I'm totally surprised I'm
Okay,
here.
okay, I want you to back up. Did she say this is a gift, or did she say, here, I want you to have a good Christmas?
She said, I want you to have it. I want you to have a good Christmas.
The words gift and loan were never uttered.
Nope.
All right, so then, I want you to have this, I want you to have a good Christmas. Did she say when you would have to pay back?
Nope.
Okay, why is he, were you in the room?
No, in fact,
Okay, so hold on, go ahead.
Okay, and then I told her, I said, I can't accept this. There's no way we would ever be able to repay you. And she kept insisting, give it to me. I brought it home and showed my husband. He immediately went over to her house and tried to get the check
Let me
back.
hear that. That you're a
yes,
witness to.
as soon as I found out that the check was cut and given to us, I took the check right back over to her house and insisted that she take it back, and because I couldn't accept that from her as a gift.
It's a lot of
and
money.
I insisted that she take it back, and she said, no, I want you to have this. This is something I want to do for you guys, and I'm doing this, and I want you to have this.
Okay, did he ever come back?
No, Your Honor.
Did he ever knock on your door and say, you can't do this, and try to, talk to you about the check?
No, Your Honor. And, I'm a single mom living in a very expensive place. This is a lot of money for me. I would never give this even to my own sibling. There is no way.
But
That's not true.
Okay, but if you,
I took it in
just
good
a second, just a
faith.
second. If I'm to glean from that of course it's a loan. What I'd prefer to glean from that is that if you're a single mom living in an expensive place and you have expenses, then you don't even do the loan. You have your money. But according to you, you were trying to do something nice. And tell me then, how do we get here? What is it that happened?
I have no idea. Honestly, I
Yes, you do. How is it that we get here where she's suing you for the money? What happened? Did you guys have a falling out?
don't. No, we just don't, no contact because our kids don't hang out anymore. It's 2
And,
years.
and the kids don't hang out because
They just don't.
outgrew each
They
other?
don't get along.
Did she at some point a few years ago sit you down and tell you that?
Nope. So what happened was, by Labor Day of 2018, she came to my house. And basically, we had, tried to keep in touch that summer, 2018. And the last time she came to my house before Labor Day was July of 2018. She came to my house because I had been asking for the house keys because when her husband was working on my house, he carried the house keys. So when he came over and brought the house keys, he didn't bring it. She came over with her son, and she was all excited, saying, "Chris finally got the settlement check." And I said, "Oh, okay. And so do you have my check?" And she said, "No." She goes, "Oh, we just came back from getting new cell phones for Chris and Adam." She goes, "But you can get it from him." She goes, "You can call him." So after
Did
they
you
left.
tell her that?
No,
And so after.
You never told her go ahead and get the money from Chris?
no.
Go on.
And so I basically kept calling him, and he just refused to answer the phone. And there were a couple of phone calls from July to September that I kept saying, "Jen, he's not answering his phone call." And then she was like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. I told him." She goes, "I told him. There's nothing more I could do." And I'm like, "You live with him." And then we agreed to meet Labor Day. I was coming back Labor Day from visiting family. She came to my house on Labor Day. She was in tears saying that her son was treating her badly. Chris still didn't have a job. And I said, you could at least pay me $25 a week. I understand, that $1,500 is a lot. I said, but you could pay me $1,500 a week. And, that's what.
$25 a week.
$25 a week, I'm sorry. And, until it's paid off, and you can have it paid off in like a year or so. And it just burns me because they're like heavy, heavy chain smokers, and they can buy a pack of cigarettes a day each, and they can't pay me $20 a week.
Labor Day of what year was that?
2018. And
Okay.
from that point on, every time I have ever tried to contact her, she puts it straight to voicemail because she's trying to avoid me. And so I tested it one time. I called her work from my work landline, And so I knew my name wouldn't pop up in her contacts list. She picked it up. And then she gave me her lame excuse that she told me she uses when she doesn't want to talk to someone. She said, "Oh, I have to go. I have an all-day meeting." You're an office of 2 people. Who are you meeting with all day?
Did your boys have a problem?
Yeah, they're both pig-headed and hard-headed, but it wasn't only my son. I'll be the first one to admit my son is no angel, but their son is horrible. He was completely disrespectful. He is very temperamental. He's very moody, and he's very picky. I would put food out, and I fed them, mind you, almost 5 to 7 days a week. They would eat dinner at my house.
How many hours were they at your house every day? Well, he's your kid, but how many hours was their kid at your house every day?
He was there from after school, and sometimes they wouldn't leave until like 9, 10 o'clock. She'd come over straight after work, and they wouldn't leave until like 9, 10 o'clock, and I didn't know how to push them out and say, well, it's time to eat. Like, they just didn't know when to leave, and so I would just offer them dinner as well, so I was constantly cooking for them.
Them being the parents?
Yes, for the whole family, for the 3 of them, and
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any texts back and forth between you guys at any point in time regarding the money? Neither one of you?
I even called Verizon and I double checked with Verizon and they went through the records. I have nothing, Your Honor.
Why were you looking for that?
Because I don't have any text, no nothing.
Right. Why were you looking for it?
In case she says that there was text between us. I don't have anything. I don't even know why I'm here.
we have texts.
I'm sorry, why would you go through the effort that so few of my litigants go through to find out if there's going to be any evidence against you?
Because I have
If you
OCD.
know that there can't possibly be any evidence against you because you were never supposed to pay it back.
I have OCD, Your Honor. I like to have all my ducks in a little laid out.
You know how you avoid this? When you write a check to somebody, what do?
Put it in the memo, what it's
Right.
for.
Is it in the memo?
No, ma'am. I took it in good faith, and
No,
when
that's not taking it in good faith. That's making a mistake. It's not.
It's a
It's not
mistake.
someone else's fault that you didn't write loan on the memo.
Absolutely.
You know.
I thought we had a verbal agreement, and that was
And
it.
then, according to you, in return for, because there's more to the story. Then, what is were you paid $3,000 to do the job?
Actually, I believe it was more than that.
Okay.
There was 3 rooms. First, it was a bedroom at $1,500, and then the second room was $1,000. There was a bathroom that got painted for $1,000, and then her bedroom got done at $2,000.
Bathroom was not 1,000.
Everybody, stop talking. Answer to the complaint, which you just wrote today. When you got to the courthouse, you amended. You had an opportunity to change things, and this is what you wrote. Because of the plaintiff's generosity, the defendant felt compelled to return the favor as best he could by doing way above and beyond what I was paid to do over the course of the next 5 months. That we charge her nothing for it. It was our way of saying thank you to the plaintiff.
Right.
Right. But he did charge something for his work.
Oh, well.
She was not privy to the whole payment for between the work that was done by me for her. So she was unclear as to what the payments were for what work was done at the time. That's why she possibly made that statement.
Can I see the canceled checks? Why did you wait so long to file? You're within the statute of limitations. I'm curious why you waited so long to file.
Because I really relied on the friendship, and that was hoping that she would come to her senses.
I'm sorry, what happened in those 2 years that made you think that she was going to pay you?
Well, we've seen each other a couple of times on awkward situations, and then at one point, we were at a mutual friend's house. I didn't know she was going to be there, and she just out loud just screams my name, make sure the whole room heard her say hi to me. So I thought that was her way of saying hi, and she tried to get in on the conversation I was having with someone, so I thought maybe she was warming up to it. And I made one phone call again, like about a month after that, to see if, like, maybe testing the waters to see if it changed. No, it didn't. And then, another occasion where we were registering for my son to go to high school. She was like 3 people behind me, and, we saw each other, and we saw each other coming in and out. And I just, like I said, I thought things would warm up, and we really got close at a very short period of time because of, all the events that happened in both of our lives, that I was really hoping that the friendship would come through.
So you were willing to let it go so long as you guys were still friends, but not if you weren't friends?
No, even if we had stayed friends, I kept making sure she
So
understood
what efforts
I
did you
needed
make
it.
to collect on this, since according to you it's a loan? Show me the efforts you made to collect. Do you have any proof of attempting to collect at any point in time?
No, just calling her, and whenever she would come over, I would ask her for it, and then she constantly would tell me, "You got to ask Chris, sorry." And I even told her at one point, "I loaned you the money, not Chris. Why am I going after him? Why am I going to ask him for the money?"
Okay. Was there a point in time when you ever said to her, "I'll pay you back, you'll be the first person we'll pay back when the money comes in," or anything like that?
No, you are.
Absolutely not true.
Kept telling her we don't have the money.
I know, but why wouldn't you? If you are so grateful to somebody for helping you out in your time of need, it's not so uncommon to say something like that. And I'll tell you what bothers me about your case. You know, first of all, I mean, it goes without saying, it's so easy to document a loan. If you're not going to write up a promissory note, then you just send a text or an email that you keep about it. I understand you guys can't pay me back now, but, whenever you can, just make payments towards it, however you want to do this. I'm so happy I was able to help you out. And make sure you get a response. How hard is that? Wait, I got a better idea. The check is in your possession. You're the one writing the check. Write loan on the memo line. There's no getting around that. I don't think that you were particularly clear. I think you were so happy to help your friend that you loved. You were so happy to make a nice Christmas. You were so happy to be such a good friend that maybe it was a little less than clear what the parameters were. And the same way I believe that, I kind of believe that over there, someone's saying, "Oh, well, if we get the dough, we'll pay you back." But my job at this point, and I'll tell you what else concerns me about your testimony, is when you say, when I tell you what efforts did you make to collect in the last 2 years, and your answer to me is, "Well, I thought there was hope. I thought we'd still be friends." That's like an answer to why you're not pursuing it, which, yeah, I could loan a friend money and then not want to sue them because I want to stay their friend. Or it could make it look like, so long as you're my friend, I won't pursue it. It can make it look like, and you're not that kind of person, I don't think, from what little I have known you all my life here in these last few minutes. I don't think that. I think you're more the person that will let it go. But what that leaves me with is me trying to figure out what it was at the time of the offering, not what it might have morphed into or what it might have become later, because that doesn't cut it. I believe that there were times when she said, "You'll be the first to pay." I believe it, okay? But if when you give it, it isn't clear that it is a loan and it needs to be repaid back, if you're not clear about it, then it's not a loan. And the amount's a lot of money, that the default is people aren't raining money on me, but in this situation, on these facts, it kind of looks like there wasn't a clear understanding at the time of the giving about, you got to pay me back at some point, even if it's in a year or two, but you have to pay me back at some point, and these are the terms. And because of that, I'm going to rule in favor of the defendants. I also want to add the following. If someone was so nice as to give me a $1,500 gift when I needed it, and I were no longer in that position of need, what I would do as a decent human being maybe would be to return the favor. But I don't have the ability legally to force that to occur. That is my verdict for the defendants.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, after careful consideration, the judge has determined the money was not a loan. Ms. Paleo, what are you thinking?
Well, they lied, but I understand why she, judged in their favor, and lesson learned, the next time I loan money, just get some kind of informal writing documentation. It's hurtful because it happened with a friend. So, lesson learned.
In other words, make sure They understand it's a loan.
It doesn't have to be some legal document,
Exactly.
but like text or some,
Okay.
you know, some documentation.
Well, you've learned a hard lesson.
Yep,
All righty.
I
Thank
sure
you very
have.
much. You must sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom. The Warrens are on their way out of the courtroom now. What do you think about what Judge just said, that if you were in a position where you could give the money back, even if you didn't think it was a loan, then maybe it might be nice to do that? How do you feel about that?
No comment, really.
No comment?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
You don't think you should give it back? You've come into the situation where you
Honestly,
could?
we felt we did give it back with the work that was done. So, but justice was served. The judge ruled. I mean, what more can we say?
Okay. Thank you very much. That'll do it. Harvey?
You know, Doug, the problem here is sometimes she loaned money, sometimes she gave money. It was impossible to find out which is which. When you loan money, you got to have some record of it. And even writing it in the memo line, I'm not sure that's even safe, because you could do that after the fact when you get the check back. So what I would do if I were you, I'd send a text making it clear it's a loan.
This is the plaintiff, Martin Jr. Leon. He says his brother, the defendant, cold clocked him in the face one night after an argument and broke the bone in his eye socket. He had to have emergency surgery. A plate needed to be installed under his eye to hold it together, and his terrible brother owes him $5,000 for medical bills and pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Michael Mariano Leon. He says his brother, the plaintiff, was very intoxicated and he was trying to fight his sister. His brother ended up shoving him when they began to argue, so he fought back and punched him in self-defense. He only punched him to protect himself and doesn't feel like he owes anything. He's accused of clocking his brother.
All parties, please use your right hand. Seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Martin Leon, you are suing your brother, Michael Mariano Leon, for $5,000 in medical bills and pain and suffering that you say happened at his hands on none other than Christmas Day. Tell me what happened.
It was Christmas Day. It was my birthday. We were having fun. Yeah, we were all having a good time until my cousin came.
Where was the party?
We were at my sister's house. We were having all a good time. Everybody was having a good time. He was having a good time. I was having a good time. Basically, we all having a good time. And then my cousin, the gangbanger from Compton, he comes over to my sister's house on my birthday, on Christmas, comes over, drinks my bottle, and starts eating my food, and starts tripping on me. And I tell him he needs to leave my sister's house, and that's when he gets rowdy and starts, and the argument starts pushing. And that's when his girl got in it and said, don't do nothing to Mono, don't do nothing to Mono, start shoving me. And his girl pushed me real serious to the point where I really got mad, and she started like kind of low-key swinging and stuff.
What's low-key swinging?
Kind of like almost like this, Okay. But I'm backing up. And so I tell him, he tells me, I'm going to take you home. Come down, brother. Everything's going to be all right. And I tell him, I don't want your girl in my house no more. She is not welcome there because of what she did to me.
Now, you live with your mother.
Yes.
Who is also his mother.
Yes.
Whose house is it, yours or hers?
No, it's my mother's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say to your brother, your girlfriend is not welcome.
I tell him, your girlfriend is not welcome in my property. Okay,
so he decides he's going to take you home. Has he been drinking too?
We're all drinking, Your Honor.
Okay. So he decides that he's going to drive you home. So then what happens?
Okay, we get home, and the girlfriend gets out of the car, and she locks me in the car and runs inside my house.
How does she lock you in?
With the keys automatic, she locks me in.
And you can't get out?
No, I'm trying to open it, and I'm like, what the hell? And then she...
Is your brother in the car?
Yeah, he's not doing nothing, just on his phone like nothing. And then she runs inside my property, which I already told him that she's not allowed, and he said, okay, she's not allowed, and my mom don't even want her in there. She ran in there arguing with my mom. My mom is not paying attention to her.
Arguing with your mom about what?
Yeah, my mom told her, I don't want to hear nothing, get out of my property, and she did not want to leave. I finally got the door.
What time of the night was this?
It was like 12, like at 12, 11, 12, 1.
Your mom had not gone to her daughters, to your sisters?
My mom was at my house. She was waiting for me to come home.
Right. Had she not been at the party?
My mom?
Yeah.
No.
Well, how come? I'm just curious.
My mom don't want to, she don't, my mom's an old lady, she's...
Okay, so it was a cousin thing as opposed to a Christmas generation thing.
Yeah, her mom watches her soap operas at home, you know?
So go on.
So how
old's your mom?
My mom is 54. I take care of her, Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Yeah, by 30, 54 shouldn't sound that old.
Well, my mom is
You know I'm older than your mom, right?
I take care of my mom. I cook for my mom.
Okay, but you know I'm older than your mom.
I clean for my mom. I do everything for my mom.
You know that I'm older than your mom.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. I'll cook and clean for you too.
Okay.
So,
all right, so
Your
what
Honor,
happened?
So I run in the house.
How do you get out of the car?
You know what? I really don't know.
Okay, maybe you were just drunk and couldn't get out of the car and she didn't like
locked it with the keys because I heard.
Well, then how did you get out?
I finally did like this. I heard,
Okay, anyway, so you get out and what happened?
I get out, I go in the house. She's trying to tell my mom like things, chismes, like.
What is she
She's trying to
chismeando
tell
about?
my mom like her side of the story, trying to, I don't know, I guess.
And
my mom's like, get out of here, get out of my house. I don't want to hear you. And I'm like, Cynthia, get out. Could you get out, please?
Wait, what did your hand just do?
Oh, nothing. I didn't touch her. I'm just going like this. I'm like, could you please get out? I'm trying to guide her out. And
Okay, but did your hand touch her in any
Not
way?
at all. I'm going like this. Could you please get out of my house? And she's getting all up in my face and going like this with her fat stomach. And I'm like, so I'm like, okay, now you pushing me. And I gently guided her out of my house, out of my property, inside my house. And then she ran outside.
Okay.
And she went and told him that I hit her. And he came back running in. And when I was going to my room, my mom, I didn't know nothing. I blacked out. My mom said that he pulled me by the sweater, ripped my brand new sweater that my mom brought me for my birthday. He ripped me, threw me on the ground. He punched me like 10 times in my eye. He broke my bone. I had emergency surgery done. I had to go to 2 hospitals. Now I got a metal plate right here for the rest of my life. All because his girlfriend lied. He couldn't even go in there and just talk to me.
All because he hit you.
All because the girlfriend went and said that I hit her.
Right,
and it's a lie. I got my mom right here ready to go.
Right, but assuming she told him that?
Yes.
That doesn't justify him busting your eye orbit.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So he's still the guy who busted the eye orbit. Now, give me all of the medical reports for everything that happened.
And
I don't just want
one more thing, Your Honor, that my mom wanted me to tell you. While he was hitting me in the face and hitting me on the ground, he made my mom had a blood pressure attack. And my mom fell on the ground shaking real bad. And that's when he stopped hitting me. My mom wanted me to tell you this. He's a bad son.
Did your mom give an affidavit?
He wouldn't stop hitting me.
I need you to listen to my question. Did your mom send anything in writing for me to read?
She got her number. She said if you want to call her, she's ready.
Do that.
She want to talk to you.
I want 2 things. So look through your paperwork and give me 2 things. One is the police report from that night, and the other are the medical records. According to you, what happened?
Well, the issue all started at my sister's house, right? Long Beach, California. So everybody's getting intoxicated, like he said. I go to the bathroom for a little while. I go back and I see him and my cousin like all up in each other's face. So then from there, I went ahead. I tried to separate them. I told them like, you guys don't fight or nothing. I tell him, okay, it's fine. Let's just leave. Let's take you home, dog. I don't want to start any problems. On the way home, we get home. I didn't drive, Your Honor. I was intoxicated.
Who drove?
The mother of my child did. She drove us home, so we get there, and the door's not locked, Your Honor. Obviously.
Are you still dating her?
Yeah, well, right now we're actually separated.
Okay.
She doesn't want to be with me at the moment because of the issue that's going on right now. I mean.
Okay, so what happened? So you get to the house.
We got to the house. The door wasn't locked. He could have got out whenever he wanted to.
I believe that's probably the case. But why is she running out into his house to talk to your mother?
Out of respect, it was Christmas, Your Honor. She wanted to get off and tell my mom Merry Christmas.
Did she? Because what she was saying instead was talking about the problem. That's not very merry.
She went inside just to tell her Merry Christmas, you know.
Except for that's not what she did. She went inside and she talked about the problem.
From what she told me, she went in there and she said...
Why didn't you get out? If you knew that there was already him screaming, I don't want her in there, and she had gone in there, and then he had gone in there, wasn't it obvious there was going to be a problem, or you were too drunk?
What I didn't want to go. I didn't want to step in on that situation because I knew things were going to escalate.
Well, you sure stepped into the situation later.
So what I did is I went in like after that had happened.
You went in after she came out. What did she tell you when she came out?
She came out crying, saying that he grabbed her and he tossed her out the house, Your Honor, like a dog.
Okay, and what did you do?
I go in and I'm telling him like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, bro, you know? So he starts telling me, you get the out of my house. You don't belong in my house. You're not welcome in here. His house. He doesn't even pay rent, Your Honor. He doesn't pay taxes. You know? So I go in and he's shoving me out. And we have a history together. Since I was 14, I've been fighting this man off.
Who's the older one?
He's the older one, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm only 25 years old right now. So me as a 14-year-old kid, I'm...
Okay, I don't want to hear about your 14-year-old kid.
Okay, Your Honor. Well...
I want to hear about how you put a plate in his eye.
Okay,
That's where I'm going.
I went in and he's grabbing on me, trying to force me out and whatnot. So he like raised his hands on me really good. That's where I was...
What does that mean? Show me with your hands what he did.
He was like, you know?
Okay.
So once he did that, I mean, he's intoxicated, and I'm like, oh, wow, he's going to do something to me. So I just reached back real quick, and I seen that coming. I'm like, oh, get away from me. And I gave him one good one, Your Honor.
Okay, so your testimony is...
self-defense.
Just stop. Everybody stop talking. Your testimony is that you went into the house to confront him about throwing out your girlfriend like a dog and putting his hands on her, and that while you're arguing with him, he starts to shove you out of the house, so you punch him once. That's your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see the police report. Do you have pictures of your injuries?
The police wouldn't release him to me because they said it was an open case.
What's going on with the case?
I mean, they said if he was we're going to drop it. I don't know. Something.
Why would you drop it?
It's my brother. You know, I really don't want to, it's my brother,
Wait,
you know?
did you get arrested?
No, Your Honor.
So the issue is, are you going to press charges or not? But at some point, what happened that night? Did the police say, do you want to press charges? What happened?
Oh, he booked it. He ran.
Right, but was there ever an arrest warrant for him?
Nah, not that I know. I was rushed to the emergency room.
I understand, but usually the police follow up and then they call you and they say, what do you want to do?
My bone was...
I want you to listen to my question.
Couldn't talk.
When the police call you, and you eventually can talk, because I know that eventually you could talk. When the police call you and follow up on this, do you tell them, I don't want to pursue this?
No, I did. I told him I want to press charges on him. He needs to learn.
I don't want to press charges?
I wanted to.
You wanted to?
Yeah, because he needs to learn his lesson.
All right, so then why is it nothing has happened? That's what I'm curious about.
Because, at first when he hit me, I didn't know the injury was, so serious until they took...
it's pretty damn serious.
Yes, I didn't know that.
So, in fact, what happened is you broke your brother's eye socket.
Yeah.
You broke the bone in his eye socket.
I have metal in my
face.
face.
Stop.
No.
Talk to me. Don't do that.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. If you had a brother who physically assaulted you, even broke a bone, would you sue him for medical bills?
Absolutely.
Flesh and blood?
Absolutely. Someone attacks you, no matter who it is.
What do you say?
Sure. Yeah.
Anybody wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
Why?
Because it's family.
But look what family did to you.
Yeah, people change.
Wow. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
You broke the bone in his eye socket, and he now has a metal plate. That's what you did to your brother. You aware of that?
He sent me a text, as a matter of fact.
And
stating
told you
what happened to his cheekbone.
So you know the extent of the injury.
Exactly, Your Honor.
So during that time, has there ever been a moment of reflection where, regardless of whether you think you were justified, which we'll talk about in a moment, ever a moment of reflection where you say, hey, bro, man, I'm really sorry? Ever? Has that ever happened?
I never replied back to him, Your Honor, because the fact is he went straight to claiming a lawsuit on me. So the way that I felt was, let's just take it to court and we'll just handle it out like that, Your Honor. Because I felt like as if I'm being targeted right here, you know? That's how I feel.
Let's talk about what the witnesses said to the police that night. Because in the police report, there's two people other than you two talking. One is your girlfriend and the other one is your mother. They have whited out the names of the girlfriend and the mother, but it's very obvious who's who. And here's what it says your girlfriend said to the police. Okay, while Martin and Blank were having a conversation, Blank walked inside of the residence. Martin told Blank she was not welcome inside the residence and she had to leave. This is obviously your girlfriend.
The second time.
The girlfriend was upset and walked out of the residence. Not one word about he manhandled me, he pushed me, he hit me, nothing. Martin began to walk towards his room and heard, I presume they whited out your name, yell, why you telling my girl things? As soon as Martin turned around, you punched him on the right side of his face, punched him numerous times, causing him to fall to the floor. Martin fell on his back, and you continued to punch him in the face. And now here is your mother's testimony. The girlfriend walked in. Martin told her she wasn't welcome inside the residence and had to leave. The girlfriend was upset and walked out. And as Martin started to walk to his room, you walked in and began to punch him in the face numerous times, causing him to fall to the floor. He fell on his back, and you continued. This is your mother. Continued to punch him in the face. And you were mounted on top of him as your... This is your brother on his birthday, and Christmas. Proud of yourself? Putting your mother through this? Putting your brother
No,
through
Your
this?
Honor, I really didn't put her through anything.
I think you did.
It was a
now
mutual...
let's talk about what you actually did with your one punch that you say that your own mother who brought you into the world says is a lie. Says you kept punching him while he was down. Let's talk about what you did. You broke the bone in his face. Where you broke it was in his eye socket.
All of it. It broke. It cracked. All my cheekbone cracked. It fractured.
Where's the rest of the police report? Because one of the things you're suing for is the medical bills. Where are the medical bills?
Oh, I have the picture.
Just give me the whole folder. You have epilepsy?
Yes, I guess, and he knows
You
that.
punch your brother in the head and he has epilepsy?
I'm diagnosed with epilepsy, Your Honor.
Left orbital floor blowout fracture, intraorbital contents retrieved from maxillary sinus. They had to pick the pieces of the bone. Following plating with a 3D contoured plate. They had to put a metal plate in him. All he did in a drunken, angry stupor is go like this. But what you did was savage. It was savage, and it had a huge consequence for him. And honestly, I usually am the person trying to talk family down to bridge their day, but I don't understand why he doesn't prosecute you to death. He should be prosecuting you. He should. I don't mean a lawsuit like this. This is nothing. You should be criminally prosecuted for what you did. And you don't seem the slightest bit contrite or sorry about it.
I am sorry, Your Honor.
Are you? Have
Yes,
you
I
ever
am.
told your brother how sorry you are you put a metal plate in his face?
Tell you the truth, him taking me to court for this situation...
Are you serious? Do you think that him suing you for his pain and suffering and medical bills is bigger than you causing him the pain and suffering and medical bills? Can you possibly really think that?
No, Your Honor.
You think maybe if there had been the slightest bit of brotherly love afterwards, even if in your head it was justified. If you said, oh my God, I went too far, I'm so sorry, I can't believe this happened, visit him in the hospital the next day. If you try to, do you think that there would be a prosecution pending potentially against you and a civil case against you? Do you think that you would have met me?
No, Your Honor.
Exactly. But you did. So now it is my turn to do a little justice. I find in your favor for $5,000. Every bit of it. Pay the man.
I just want to say one thing, Your Honor. Can I say one thing to you, please? Man, even after he did that to me, the next day I texted him, brother, let's talk about this. I don't want to take you to court. I accept this. He still didn't want to do it. He's the animal. He's the animal, not me.
Well, no question here. The plaintiff does prevail for $5,000. Michael, let me just ask you, number one, you heard what the judge said. She thinks your brother should be really charging you with serious aggravated assault.
I understand. It's just as far as the witnesses, they're very close together, you know, mother and son.
Well, let me just ask you, I think everybody would want to know, do you think there's any hope of having any kind of peaceful
Oh, yeah, I love my brother. I have love for him. You know, in the future, we'll see how it goes.
Well, I think you got to learn how to show it to him because you haven't done a very good job so far.
I'll try my best in the future.
All right. You can sign a few documents on your way. It cost you $5,000. That's an expensive night you had. And a painful one for Martin. Martin, you know, I know how you feel.
Man, all I got to say is I'm a good guy. I take care of my mother, and that's why I still live with my mother, or else my mother would have kicked me out, right? That's all I got to say about that part.
Do you think you can ever have a relationship?
Oh, yeah, man. When the second day he did that to me, I texted him, you know, we don't got to go to court for this. Let's talk about this. You're my brother. You're my little brother. I love you. And I hope we do make up because we were real tight. We were tight. We like white on rice until that girl stepped into the picture. That's all I got to say.
Good luck to you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Doug, I got to tell you, this is a felony assault, and this defendant is lucky.
These are the plaintiffs, Kathleen Goya Jedney and Zachary Jedney. Kathleen says they hired the defendant to undercoat her son's truck as a Christmas present. They paid the defendant in cash. He never did any work to the truck, and his promises of returning their money mean nothing. That's right. He keeps saying the check is in the mail. It never is, and they're suing this crook for the $850 they're owed. This is the defendant, Paul DiPietro. He says the plaintiffs are impatient people who don't understand a job like theirs could take a few days at least to be completed. Kathleen flipped out on him when she showed up one day and the truck hadn't been started. He never gave her a time frame. She can't have her money back because he already purchased the materials and she needs to just chill out. He's accused of not getting things started.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant was hired to undercoat their son's truck, but he never did the job. Now, supposedly, he sent them a refund, but they never received a penny. The defendant says they took the truck back before he even had a chance to start it. So tough. It's the case of the checks in the mail.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Hi. Hi. So the gentleman next to you is?
My son.
All right. And so for Christmas, what'd you get him?
I was attempting to get him undercoating, a protective undercoating, to protect under his truck from rusting.
What kind of truck do you have?
He has a Ford F-350.
Do you have a tongue?
Well, yeah.
Okay. What kind of truck do you have?
An F-350.
Okay. And how did you guys conclude that that's what it needed? Like, what made you feel like it needed that?
Well, I was just going to buy a new truck, but then I figured I'd get the undercoating to save some money for a little bit.
Okay, because that does what? The undercoating makes it last longer?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how did you find the defendant?
I found him on Facebook Marketplace. He had a ton of ads out. And
Okay. Did he have any reviews?
yeah, he had some reviews.
I don't even trust those reviews anyway.
Well,
I mean, I know what I would do if I had a business. I'd have like 100 of my favorite friends write great things. But when I see 5 reviews, I'm like, oh, they don't even have friends.
Yeah.
But anyway, so who takes the truck in?
Zach took the truck in.
And so tell me about what happens. What day do you take the truck in?
I took the truck in December 12th, which was a Thursday.
And what did you say and what did he say?
I dropped it off. We went in. He was going to write me a receipt, but he didn't have any receipt books, so he wrote it on a piece of paper because he said he had a ton of other trucks he was doing at a different shop.
Okay, go on.
And I paid him in full because I was leaving for Maine for the weekend to pick up a new snowmobile. And
Okay, you never pay anybody in full. Ever, 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 never, ever pay somebody more than they're asking for. Why? Because now you have to sue for the whole thing. You're out the whole thing. You're out double what you needed to be out because I'm sure he only asked for a deposit or didn't ask for anything. What did he ask for?
deposit.
Yeah. How much did he ask for?
I believe it was half the work or paid.
Yeah. That's usually what people ask for, maybe even less. So it's Thursday, December 12th, and then what happened?
Friday, he was supposed to do the work. Marcy, it had to be, I think, a day to dry and get prepped, or
Wait, who told you he was going to do the work Friday?
the defendant.
He told you, I'll take care of this tomorrow.
Yeah, and we can pick it up Saturday.
Okay. Now, is pickup Saturday anywhere on the receipt?
No.
Okay. That's another piece of advice I want to give you. When time is of the essence, make sure you write it on, the contract between you guys. Go ahead.
And then Saturday came, he said he couldn't do the work. It would have to stay another day. So Sunday, I got back Saturday night. So Sunday, we went after lunch, and he texted me saying the work wasn't done yet.
Okay.
And he wanted the truck for a couple more days, but
And you said?
no.
Okay. When did you pick it up?
Sunday, probably 2 o'clock.
Okay. Now, let me hear from you.
Okay, good morning, Your Honor. First of all, the undercoating process is not going to your local shop and just having it sprayed with something you buy from Advanced Auto or whatever they buy it from. Our process is a 2 to 3 day process, maybe 4 days. That's being quick. I mean, we have to scrape the truck, we sandblast the truck, we then have to power wash it off, we then prime it. Priming has to fully cure. Then
Well, how long does it take to fully cure?
It takes 4 to 6 hours for the primer.
Okay.
But the undercoating could take absolutely like up to 8 to 12 hours because it depends actually on the weather, believe it or not. If it's like raining outside or if there's any kind of moisture in the air.
Takes longer to dry.
Yeah, and we actually put 2 coats of undercoating on. So for it to fully cure, I can't put undercoating over wet undercoating. So what happens is it fully dries and
Okay,
gets
he
like.
testified that you told him it'd be ready for pickup Saturday.
Yeah, it's absolutely not true. I'd never. What I tell people is that it could take 3 to 4 days, but it could take even longer. Again, if it's dry and it's nice out.
Why would it take longer?
Because if it's raining out,
Yeah, but even if it's raining out, it wouldn't take that much longer.
it would take 12 hours.
Yeah,
So,
that's 12 hours longer.
That's another
That's
day, right? Now, in this case was, I think, if I can remember back, that we were overbooked that week. I believe he brought it in, like he said, on a Thursday. I've never met the mother, but I've been very cordial with the mother.
That's
and
nice, but what I have to determine is, did you or didn't you tell him that it'd be done in 2 days?
I wouldn't. I don't tell any of my customers it's to be done in 2 days because that's impossible. It's even on a good time, it's 3 days. It's just because.
Well, then what did you tell him it would take? Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The receipt doesn't say when he could pick it up.
Correct.
So why don't you put in the receipt, it could take up to a week?
I've never done that. What I would tell the customers is, call me back in a couple of days. I'll give you an update on the vehicle. I believe they came down 3 days later and said, "That's it. We want our truck."
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiffs say that the defendant never did the undercoating on their son's truck, nor did he return their deposit. But the defendant says it takes 3 to 4 days minimum to do the job if weather cooperates, and he had no other work going on. But the plaintiffs were impatient and demanded the truck back. Let's go back into the courtroom.
And what did you say to them?
I said to them, I need more time. Sometimes we get backed up, sometimes the weather, and it's there's different variables.
Yeah, well, what was the delay, though, in this one?
We were booked up, and I believe it rained on Saturday.
And your lift broke, didn't it?
No.
No? Where did you get that his lift broke?
He posted it on Facebook. He was looking
Can I see it?
He was looking for somebody to fix his lift because his lift broke, and that was posted on Friday, December 13th.
Does that sound familiar?
I mean, it could have been, Your Honor. I mean, it could have.
Right. So, in other words, it's not that the process takes longer. It's that you were unable to do what, you know.
It does take longer, Your Honor.
Well,
I mean, if
it
you have
takes
to let.
much longer if you don't have a lift.
Correct.
And the lift was fixed when? The lift that you don't remember broke was fixed
No,
when?
I'm sure it could have been broke, Your Honor, but it was literally fixed within hours. I mean, I have a company that I bought the lift from that literally is in the same town that would come right over.
Okay. In your answer to the complaint, one of the things you say is you had already bought stuff to do this. Tell me about that.
Okay, so there's 2 different undercoatings you can get. Okay, so there's like an undercoating that will come off in a year or 2, and then there's a lifetime warranty undercoating. And so it is very expensive. So it's something that at that time we did not carry on hand. If somebody
Okay, I'm just going to stop you. I'm going to read from your answers.
Sure.
Zach paid me $850, and I don't remember if it was in cash or with a check, but I felt like co-plaintiff Kathleen was rushing me. So did you talk to her on the phone?
No.
You had said you never met her.
Right. I didn't meet her. I'm not sure that maybe he was rushing me.
I felt like co-plaintiff Kathleen was rushing me, so I went to a local store to buy the supplies I needed, which ended up being more expensive. I would have gone to my distributor, which would have been cheaper, but co-plaintiff Kathleen was already rushing me, and it would have taken even longer. Okay, what's that about?
Because, Your Honor, if I order directly from my distributor, I usually can get it, within a day to 2 days. So what they were calling me, telling me they needed it by Saturday, I believe they dropped it off.
So they did tell you that they needed it by Saturday.
He told me he needed it by Saturday.
So
Correct.
he told you he needed it by Saturday.
Correct. And I couldn't.
And you took the job knowing that he needed it by Saturday.
No, that's not when I took the job.
Can you show me the proof that you bought those supplies? Do you have any of it?
You know what? After watching the show numerous amount of times, I knew you were going to ask me that. And yeah.
And?
Yeah, I know. December 12th, I had to go to a local store, which.
And you don't have the receipt?
Of course not. I knew.
All right, so now, blah, 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 the lift issues were not taken care of. What day? I want to see it in your phone. Show me in your phone so I have a context and know the dates, because your screenshot doesn't have the date. Okay, on Sunday at 1:22, Zach, your truck is outside the shop. Unfortunately, the lift issues were not taken care of. Instead of rushing the job and not doing it right, I told them to hold off. I would rather do the job right than to do a hack job. Without the lift working properly, it just wouldn't be as good a job. They did try to bring it to a few other garages, but they were full. So we can do one of two things. We can reschedule for next weekend or any day that works for you. Lift company coming tomorrow to fix lift. So really any day after tomorrow, or we can cut you a refund check and send it out to you. I hope we can still do your truck for you. I apologize, but like I said, the truck would not come out as nice without the lift. Your truck is too nice to take a chance on. Hope you understand. Thanks, Zach. If you reschedule, I will give you back $100 due to the inconvenience. Okay, that's a lovely text.
Nice.
And I would probably leave the business with you based on that text. But they choose not to. And then he says, okay, can you send me a check for the refund? So you keep saying over and over again that you're going to refund. So what happened?
I do, Your Honor. Here's what happened. Like I said,
that's only a really nice text if it's honest. You know, if you weren't planning on refunding, then it's not.
Well, I was planning on refunding them, just not the whole amount.
Well, that's not what your text said. But why you didn't refund him a penny, right?
I understand. Right.
Right.
I agree with you. Because I bought the products specifically for his truck. If we're all being honest here in court, you know,
are we all being honest?
I am. I'm going to be right now. Oh, I will be right now.
Now you're going to be honest.
Right
okay,
now
good.
I will be.
Okay.
Yes. She had sent me a text about something about being, you know, I won't trash your business or something, and then I don't know, not to get into detail, but I do work for law enforcement for the state of Mass, and I got to be honest, it didn't sit well with me, Your Honor. We're a respectable business.
But according to you, he sent you a text after that. Do you have that?
I do.
And what do they say? They don't say, this didn't sit well with me, how dare you impugn my character. They say, oh, yeah, I'm sending a check.
Actually, one of them
has a picture of cash.
Right.
So then it starts to look like it's not that you're standing on where did you think this was going to go?
I knew it.
It starts to look not like you're standing on principle because she bullied you. Do you work for law enforcement?
I did.
Yeah, you shouldn't be telling people that. But what it starts to look like is that you just don't have the cash flow. That's what it starts to look like.
Well, that's...
So, yeah, I know. So what's going to happen now is that you're going to refund to them their $850 plus their court costs. That is my judgment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So after a lengthy wait, filing a lawsuit, the plaintiffs are going to get their $850 back. Why didn't you send it to them?
I guess with a text message and stuff like that, I probably should have sent it to him. But, you know, I'll be happy to pay them. And not only will I pay them, I'll be happy to still do his truck, and I will do it for absolutely free. And that's really what I extended the offer to his mother. And we will not only be happy to send him a check, which he'll take care of.
You have to now. There's a judgment against you.
Absolutely. But we'll also do his truck for free whenever he has time.
Well, we'll find out
Absolutely.
if they're willing to do that. But,
Sure.
But the question is, why didn't you send a check? You wouldn't be here in court if you did.
Correct. It should have been done.
I mean, it was a
wasn't
foul
done.
up on your part.
Absolutely.
Right?
Correct. It was, Doug.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You.
All right. Well, the plaintiffs are on their way out of court. What do you think about what he just said?
He has not been able to tell the truth from day one. I was prepared to give other names and from Manchester Police Department names of people that he did the same thing to as well.
Well, yeah, he's just offered to do your trick for free.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring it back.
You're not?
No.
Don't trust him?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You finally won your court
Thank you.
case and got your money. Harvey?
You know, I got to tell you, Doug, it is so important. We've talked about this before, to keep accurate, complete paperwork if you're a business person. It would have helped this defendant a lot if it said in the paperwork how much time it would take to do the job.
This is the plaintiff, Victoria. She says the defendant is her boyfriend's brother, and she loaned him money so he could buy Christmas presents. That's right, his bank account was wiped clean because he didn't pay his child support. It was right before the holidays. Now, 3 years later, she's still owed the $1,690 she lent him. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Fabio. He says the plaintiff is his brother's girlfriend, and he gave his brother all the money to pay her back after he got his tax refund. Now, over a year later, he gets this lawsuit from the plaintiff, claiming she never got the money from his sketchy brother, who he no longer talks to, and somehow that's his problem? Ha! He's accused of dissing his brother's girl.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that the defendant is her boyfriend's brother, and she gave the guy money for Christmas presents, and now the guy will not pay her back. But the defendant says he gave his brother all the money the plaintiff lent him, and if he didn't pay her back, then that's on them. It's the case of Mary Blanken at Christmas.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Victoria, you are suing your boyfriend's brother, Mr. Fabio, for $1,690, a balance of a loan that you say he still owes. Tell me what happened here.
Okay, so on December 18th, I was shopping, and I got a telephone call from, first, can I say that I love you so much?
Oh, sure. You can.
I love you a lot. I love you a lot.
You can interrupt the flow of your story just to tell me how much you love me. In fact, I virtually insist upon it.
Yeah, and
Thank
don't
you.
even bother asking him because he doesn't.
So what? Okay. But what happened between you two?
Okay,
you get a call on December 18th.
Yes, I was shopping. We were Christmas shopping actually.
Okay.
And I got a call from his mom. She left me a voicemail, and she said if I can come to the house, she had something really important that she needed to discuss with me and stuff like that. So we just went over there because we were like 10 minutes away.
Well, why didn't she call her son? Isn't that her son?
He was with me.
Right, but why is she calling you instead of her son?
Because she knows that he wouldn't. He told me not to do it.
Because his mother knew exactly what she was asking you, and she wouldn't ask him that question, and so she asked you what?
Okay, so then when I got to the house, she asked me if I can loan Fabio $2,500 because all of his money was taken out of his bank account because he wasn't paying child support.
So his bank account got garnished for the child support because he wasn't paying his debts.
Okay. Yeah, supposedly child support took everything.
Well, no, they took it because he wasn't paying the child support, I presume, because that's the only time they dip into your account, right?
Correct.
Right. So, meaning he owed child support and didn't pay that debt. So you couldn't wait to loan him $2,500 to do what?
Okay, Judge. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, oh, you think?
Yeah.
You couldn't wait to loan him $2,500 for what purpose?
Okay, because he has a little boy. And I felt bad because it was Christmas and I could help him, so I did.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did he buy his son $2,500 worth of presents for Christmas? Because that sounds a little extravagant.
Well, he had to pay bills and stuff.
So was the money for bills or just for Christmas presents?
The mom told me that he had no money in his account to do anything, and he was strapped to pay bills.
Where was he living at the time?
With his mother.
Oh, well then what bills does he have to pay? Is it mom able to help him out? I can't hear.
Say you're tough.
I'm tough? Yeah, no, I'm tough because I don't understand. He tells you not to do it, right?
He did.
What'd you say to her?
I said, don't do it.
Why?
Because it's not gonna end right.
Why though? What experience had you had that made you feel that way?
I just had something like a gut feeling inside.
Oh, so you had never loaned him money before and him not paid?
No.
You just didn't think it was a good idea to loan family money?
No.
It's not like he's destitute and he needs it because he's homeless. He's living with the mom. So what was the money for? What did your mom say the money was for?
Christmas presents.
No, pay bills.
That's what you said in the complaint. Christmas presents, no bills.
Pay bills.
Yeah.
Because my mom really doesn't work.
All right, so your mom says that to you guys, and he doesn't say that to you? Like, how did that happen? When did you talk to him?
The same day they went to the house, the same exact day.
So he comes out after mom made the request?
My mom was sitting to the left, I was in the middle, and he was sitting to the right.
He's there when mom is making the request?
We were at the table when the money was handed.
Right, but why is mom speaking for him? How old is he?
32, I believe. 32.
Right, so why is mom doing the request instead of him? Well, come on, you got to know. You know the family dynamic.
Because maybe if he would have asked, she would have said no. Come with my mom, have a little.
So you think they were manipulating her? You think mom and he were manipulating her by doing that? All right, so, manipulation achieved because you fork over $2,500 and what happens?
So 7 months went by.
And not a penny?
Not a penny.
And did you ask him for the money during those 7 months?
Yes, I texted him.
Wait, you texted him after 7 months or you texted him during the 7 months?
I texted him.
When's the first time you texted him?
Me, the 7 months, but he's always talking with his brother.
Okay, so when you're talking with when do you tell him, hey, it's time to start paying this back?
As soon as he gets income tax,
Return, meaning because he gets money back?
a refund from
Right, a
income tax,
refund.
she'll get paid in full.
Okay,
And then something happened that
No, it
that
didn't
took his
happen.
income tax.
Oh,
So-
do you think? Because apparently he owes child support and isn't paying it. So the second thing they're gonna take is his income tax. But
Well, when I sent him the text, he answered me back and he said that.
what month did you send him the text?
It was 7 months. It was 7 months later.
Right. I'm asking about those 7 months. Like during those 7 months, what's the discussion you guys are having? You're seeing your brother. You have a relationship with your brother?
Yeah, but COVID
Yeah, we
hit.
used to, yeah.
COVID hit him what? He didn't have a job? Is that what you're saying? What are you saying?
That's what he's saying. He said he wasn't working. My mom
So-
wasn't working. He was helping, picking up the slack. paying
He gave
rent,
the COVID
paying bills.
Okay. All right. So then what happens? So it's
then-
7 months later, you text him, and does he answer your text?
Yes, that's when he said all about COVID and then I'll get my money and stuff like that.
Okay. And then did he pay any money?
Yes.
What did he pay?
I got a murder over here.
No, a year later.
A year later?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he didn't pay $20.
He paid nothing.
3/22/21 was a payment for $700, and then 5/6/21 was a payment for $110.
And then after that,
That's
nothing.
the total he's paid since 2019.
That's it.
Okay, let me hear from you, Mr. Fabio.
So, like they said, my mom called them. I guess I was working, and I told her the situation I was in. So she took it upon herself to reach out to Vicky.
Well, so as soon as Vicky and your brother came over, why didn't you say no? I'll handle this.
I told my mom that they came over, and told them the situation.
No, I'm saying if you're making it sound like it wasn't your idea, then why not just say no?
Just because it wasn't my idea, doesn't mean that it wasn't going to be helpful towards me. So
Okay.
I accepted it and I told them thank you, and that's it. We moved forward from there, and then I made one payment, and then I told
I'm sorry, the payment that he says you made almost 2 years later, right?
like I don't know, a year later, I believe. No, 2 years
According to
later.
them, it was a year. Well, it's a
Or
year
2
and a
years
half. I
later.
think would be accurate.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Right. So what happened in that year and a half? Did you ever say to Vicky, I'm so sorry, I'm working on it. Can
Yeah.
I put me on a payment plan? Here's $50 a month. Did you try to do anything?
So actually, yes, I did tell them that I was going to pay them a little a month, and he actually refused. He said, no, give it to me when you have it all at once.
Okay, so did you put $50 away every
Yeah, I
month
did.
to try to, and then hand them money?
I did, and
No, you didn't, because a year and a half passed and you hadn't paid a penny.
Right, exactly. But when
Exactly.
I
So
did
how
give-
is that you putting money away and trying
When
to?
I got my tax return, I did give him the rest of the money
When you got your tax return in what year?
in 2021.
When you got your tax return in 2021,
Yes,
you gave your brother the rest of the money.
correct.
And what? Your brother's a liar? Because did he give you any the $1,800 that was
Just
left
2
over,
payments.
or whatever it was that was left over?
Just 2 payments.
Just 2 payments.
And he signed.
And I also have
I signed
I also have the text saying that they took my income tax money and I can't pay you.
So then, how did you pay him with your income tax money in 2021 if your income tax money
they
was?
took a partial of it because once they garnished my account, I was called.
Well, what did you say to him? That they took part of it, or did you say to him in a text, "They've taken my income tax money"?
Well, they took some of the income tax
That
money.
wasn't my question. That's the answer to what did they do. My question to you is, what did you say to him?
To be honest, I can't recall. It was so
Yeah,
long
it's
ago.
they took my income tax because you didn't pay anything to him from the income tax money.
I-
You not only do you take the money, then you don't pay it, and then you're lying about whether you paid him to get him in trouble with her.
No, that's not true. I did pay
What
him.
proof do you have that you paid him the money when he has a proof that you sent him a text saying, "I have no money. They took my income tax money"?
Well, there was an ulterior motive why he waited 2 years. Why wait 2 years later to bring me to court then?
I wouldn't. I'd bring you to court right away.
Exactly.
But, yeah, but I wouldn't loan you the money, So obviously she has the patience of Job, because I wouldn't loan you the money. I would listen to him and say, "Hey, I just don't want to be in this position. I love you too much. It's family. I'm sorry." Or you know what? If it's really for Christmas presents, here's $100. You don't have to pay me back. Okay? You got to be kidding me, man. Do you have any proof that you paid your brother? Tell me what the ulterior motive is you're talking about with your brother.
Why would he wait 2 years later to come in?
No, we already talked about that.
Yeah,
You
the
said he
ulterior
has a motive. What's the motive?
Yeah, the motive is because I had a Jeep leased under his name, and when it was time to bring the lease back, he was planning on buying it out the whole time. But the thing was me to bring the car back. So they were going to buy the car back as is with the damage that it was. And
Wait,
then
what damage?
on a Jeep that he leased under his name. And the
For you?
Yeah, the Jeep. The
That's
lease,
another case, Judge. That's another case. That has nothing to do with
but wait. No, but it has something to do with it if he's saying that's why your boyfriend's lying. So I'm going to hear it. But I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So he was nice enough to put a Jeep lease for you
Correct.
under his name. Why did it have to be under your name?
But he could have it under his name because of the child support.
Oh, you mean so he could rook his wife and she wouldn't get child support, his baby, his child? We want to make sure that, so, honest to God, who was making the payments?
He was.
Okay, and it was what? A Jeep of what year?
2019 Grand Cherokee Limited, right out of the showroom.
Oh, right out of the showroom. Well, what's wrong with you? Because are you older than he is?
Yeah.
Okay, by how much?
16 years.
Okay, so maybe you shouldn't be teaching him how to hide money from the ex-wife and the child by buying a Jeep of the year, a current Jeep of the year, right out of the showroom. Maybe he should show a little responsibility. So maybe you do have a history of seeing. It's not a gut. It's that you know. How did you not just say, this isn't happening?
I said don't do it.
No. That's different from this is not happening.
My mom was there and she...
I don't care, your mom's there. You have the experience. You know what he does. Why? Why not stop? If you love her, why not stop her from being in this position? You're a big woman. You're entitled. You're entitled to make your own decisions, and you're responsible for your own decisions. I'm asking about a separate issue because I would expect my husband to love me enough that he says, this is not happening. This is not happening to my mother. This is not happening to my brother, and this is just not happening. That's what I would expect his brother. I would expect my husband to do that. But in any event, let's go back to where we are. $1,690, which you say you paid him. $1,690 or $1,800? What is it you say you paid? Because in your answer to the complaint, you thought it was $1,800.
Yeah, $1,800.
The balance, according to you, is only $1,690.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
700 and 110 minus 2,500.
Yeah, it was $2,500. He paid $700 and $110. So the balance is $1,690.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And your defense is what again? You were starting to tell me a motive. Tell me about, so you damaged, I think what you're saying is that you damaged the Jeep, right?
Yeah, it got sideswiped where it was parked. The lease was up this past October. The manager said, we'll buy it back as is, don't worry. So I was like, all right, then I don't have to repair it. We'll just buy it back like that. So that's what I told him. I'm like, I'm bringing it back today. And he started freaking out because he had the
What do you mean by buy it back?
They were going to buy the Jeep back because the lease was up.
Okay, they were just going to take possession of their
Correct.
Jeep because the lease was up, not
Correct.
buy it from you. You don't own it.
Well,
All right.
Exactly. They were with the damages like that.
Okay. And then he
was
go on.
planning on actually purchasing the Jeep when the lease was over, but he didn't tell me none of that. He was just, that was
And
his,
therefore?
And therefore, that's why he's now 2 years later wants money because he.
No, but I'm
he
trying
had
to
fix- he
understand
had to fix
because he had to fix it. So
Correct.
you didn't fix the damage?
No,
That's another case, Judge.
because I didn't have to.
Do
I
you
was
people talk
planning.
to each other? Does mom understand what she did? Or not really?
I mean, I don't speak to my mom.
Oh, you don't speak to your mom either? No. For other reasons or for this?
For this,
is
for
like-
all this is happening.
This is like one of the main reasons why, yeah.
Does she baby him?
110%, yes.
When was the last time you spoke to your mother?
Almost about, I would say 7 to like 9 months ago.
What are you going to do during Christmas? What'd you do with Thanksgiving? Like, you're just not
Her
going to talk?
family.
No, I don't mean how'd you entertain
Nothing, just
yourself. I
don't
meant
talk.
like you just don't call her?
No. She called me on my birthday on Thanksgiving Day. I didn't answer the phone.
And this is why?
For the same reason, what's going on.
But why? Does she harass you about it or just you're mad at her over
It's
it?
not that, because she doesn't tell you how it is. She takes sides, one side only, which I don't think is fair. If you know something is not right, which is wrong, you have to say how it is. It's been like that for years, and I'm just drained.
She should have never called me.
I'm just drained, and I'm just frustrated. I'm tired.
And she never called you and apologized or did it?
Never.
So you have managed to not only not only owe her $1,690 and not pay for all these years, you've managed to separate your mother. How old's the mother, more or less?
70.
You've managed to deprive her of her son and daughter-in-law and cause a family schism. And I assume you two don't talk to each other either. Right. Way to go. Way to go.
Well, not entirely. I mean, there's a lot of history with him. I mean, my mom's lent them money not long ago either. He hasn't paid her back. So, I mean, that's another discussion too. But, yeah.
I not only find that you have no proof of having paid back, I find you didn't pay back. I think you're lying about it. And I'm ruling, and that has nothing to do with Victoria. You owe the money to Victoria, you should be paying the money to Victoria. I am finding in her favor in the amount of the $1,690. That's my verdict.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's going to get the $1,690 from the defendant. The judgment, anyway. Let's see what the defendant has to say. It's kind of rough for him in court today. Fabio, what did you think of this experience in court?
I mean, it didn't really play out as, as it should have. I mean, I got made out to be the bad guy in a way. So, I mean, kind of, got to just roll with the punches, I guess.
I mean, it's kind of embarrassing for you, I would think.
Yeah,
you really
it is.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen? I mean, are you going to try and repair your relationship with your brother and his wife?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. If it's mutual, you live and you learn, hopefully.
But you're not talking to him now, right?
No.
All right. Well, that's the judge's verdict. You're going to have to live with it, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's see what Victoria has to say about it. I would imagine she feels pretty good. You're going to get the $1,690 finally. You okay?
Yes.
What about, the brother? What did you feel about this?
I mean, it's a learning curve. You live and learn, and now you know for the best for next time. That's it.
I mean, have you totally washed your hands of your brother?
I mean, I don't want to say yes because who knows what the future holds. It's still blood, but as of right now, we just gotta take it day by day.
All righty. But anyway, you finally got this settled. The $1,690, you're going to get that, and then you go from there, right?
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I hope things eventually work out.
Doug, it's true the brother is a witness here. Relatives can be witnesses in cases. It doesn't mean they're automatically biased. The judge will probe, but it's not disqualifying.
Well, do you have a favorite Christmas holiday memory from when you were a kid?
Yes.
Too many to recount?
No, well, many, but I remember a particular Christmas when Santa Claus did not bring one of our children one of her requested gifts.
Oh, yeah.
And it was something she really wanted.
Right. Santa couldn't get it.
Santa couldn't get it. And
supply chain issue.
And she couldn't have been 3 or 4, our middle child, and she said, wait a second.
After all the gifts were open.
Yeah. I guess he couldn't get me the blah, 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 whatever it was. Oh, it was a Barbie motorcycle.
Right.
And then maybe half an hour later, you found a note that Santa Claus had written.
Right. Like kind of stuck behind the tree. I said, wait, what's that
over
there?
What's that, Alex? And
didn't you see that?
And then you found Santa's note saying that the elves had worked so hard and
they got a little behind. He couldn't force them to keep working because the collective bargaining agreement between the elf union and Santa. They needed a little extra time.
Yeah, that was darling because the smile on that girl's face was electric.
Yeah, I thought up a lie and I thought it up quick, right? It worked out pretty well. Well, when I was a little kid, I remember for like 3 or 4 years in a row, Santa Claus came to my house before Christmas, like a week before Christmas with one of his elves, right? And it just blew me away. He came in and said hello and everything. And each time he would come, my oldest brother wasn't there, and my dad wasn't there because he was at work or something. And he would come home, and I'd go, Dad, you missed it. Santa was here, right? And then the next year, the same thing happened. I go, you missed it again. Right?
Santa was here with an elf.
And like a year or 2 later, my parents told me when I got a little bit older, that was your father.
And your brother.
But I bought into it 100%.
This is the plaintiff, Brian Carmo. He says his cousin, the defendant, borrowed money from him before Christmas last year. Promised to pay him back, but didn't, so now they're here. It's funny, he had just cashed his paycheck, took the money and hung it on the tree in his front yard as a joke to his wife about money growing on trees, and that's when his cousin showed up, catching him off guard, so he loaned it to him. He's suing for $60, the amount owed. The This is the defendant, Sean Cordwell. He says plaintiff recently got married and now his new wife's making him come after him for the money he received as a gift. When the plaintiff approached him, he was like, "Are you serious?" Now he's actually suing for $60 in court. Well, knock yourself out. He'll tell it to the judge. He's accused of causing a cousin calamity.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says his cousin stiffed him after he loaned him some hard-earned money, but the defendant says the plaintiff's new wife is behind this, and it was a gift. It's the case of, relatively speaking, you're a deadbeat.
Thank you, Douglas. Brian Carmo,
Yes, ma'am.
you are suing your cousin Sean Cordwell for $60 that you loaned him that he apparently doesn't seem to be able or willing to pay back.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. My wife had just got back from work with the kids. Sean had been waiting for her to show up because he wanted to talk to both of us. So when she got there, we went upstairs, and previous to that, I had cashed my check and hung money all over this ficus tree. So money's hanging all from the tree.
Why? Is this a custom in New Bedford, Massachusetts?
The day before.
Remind me to go to New Bedford. Go ahead.
The day before, I was joking around with my wife about money growing on trees, so I figured.
Is this your wife?
No, this is my cousin.
Well, who's that lady?
This is my cousin Carlene.
Is she his cousin?
This is his mother.
Oh, Lord above. You got your mother on the other side?
Tell me about
it. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. All right, go ahead.
So anyways, I thought he needed help or something, and he waited till we got upstairs, and there's the tree with all the money hanging on it. He goes, "Oh, I need to borrow some money for my job the next day." So I says, "Oh, man, I can't deny I don't have any money now."
Because your money's all...
Because he sees the tree, it's straight ahead.
Wait, what did you do? How much money did you take? Do you take the money?
A few $100 in 10s and 20s.
All over the tree?
All over the ficus tree in the living room.
Is it outside or inside?
No, it's inside the house,
Oh,
right next
okay.
to the TV. So when we came up, you could see it straight ahead.
Okay, so that it's a plant that you have inside the house.
Yes.
And you taped money all over it.
All over the tree.
As a joke because your wife was coming home and from work.
And I told her the day before that money didn't grow on trees.
So you say, pick a branch, any branch?
I told my wife to go get a few 20s off the tree.
Had he seen the tree?
He saw the tree.
And what did your wife say while this is going on?
Well, when he said he needed to borrow, he said I'd get it back the next morning.
When what?
When his mother got off the boat from the vineyard.
Because his mom was at the
She had his money. She was going to reimburse me the money the following morning because it was 2 days before Christmas, 3 days before
Was that
Christmas.
this last Christmas?
2010. So it's been a year and a half now.
Are you kidding me?
No,
So
and I've seen him. And I thought I was at the musical Annie because he kept going, tomorrow, tomorrow. And I'm going, what's up with this?
Oh, man, this guy. So, if it's a legitimate dispute, if you've got a legitimate beef, would you sue your cousin for $60?
No.
Why?
Because it's my cousin and it's
But if your cousin does you wrong, if your cousin really stiffs you, would you do it?
No, it's family. Family's stronger.
What I don't get about that, I'm going to go back to you. What I don't get about it is, yeah, you say it's family, but that family's willing to stiff you.
Yeah, he's a fag. I'd sue him.
Going inside the courtroom.
What's going on?
He should be a comedian, first of all, because we grew up together and we've always, I've given him money, he's given me money, and it was never a loan. Just give it back when you can. And
That's
now,
a loan.
Yeah, it is.
That's just a loan with lenient terms. You got to give it back.
Understood. But I didn't never in a million years thought we'd be in court for $60.
Well, neither might I, but I take it. Watch this. Is this about $60? Or is this about the principal?
No, I'm here for my money.
Oh.
I see the principal enough when I was in school.
Obviously, I have
In fact, he paid. I'm looking at the paperwork. He paid $40 to get his $60.
To get my $60. And then he calls me up and he says...
See, that usually means to me it's about the principal because you're letting go of another $40 to get your $60.
Right.
I mean, clearly the guy wants to get paid back.
Understood.
So
I
then in
see
a year
that.
and a half, why wouldn't you pay him back?
I was unemployed. I
You
just
didn't have
started
60 bucks
working.
in a year and a half?
I did, but I didn't.
And you did, but you chose not to give it to him. Why?
I mean, I see my mother sitting on the other side, so this is like, I'm pretty sure I already lost the case. But
why is
you
your
know,
mother, I haven't asked anything of your mother yet, but I want to know from you, why do you suppose your mom is sitting on his side?
Judge, your guess is as good as mine.
Nah, because you've been there for the last year and a half. Has your mother told you, for the love of God, just pay this, let's get it over with, and don't let this get to the next?
Yes, Sean, when you get the money, pay him. When I didn't have the money, though, to pay him.
In a year
Just
and a
like
half?
when he owed me money, what, 8 months? I didn't sweat you for the money.
It was $5.
It's the principle, right, Judge?
No, I'm serious,
Principle.
though. I want to know why it is you think your mother's sitting there.
I have no idea
Come
why
on,
my
Mom,
mother's
stand
sitting
up.
there.
Let's hear it.
I have no clue.
Why are you sitting there, I suppose, willing to testify against your son?
Because he should have paid him.
Okay.
He should have paid him, and he's had the
Because I
money from
suppose in a
time
year
to
and a
time.
half, he'd have 60 bucks.
Yeah, so he was unemployed for a significant amount of time, but he's had employment.
Yeah, there's
sporadically.
60 bucks in a year and a
So
half.
he should have paid it. But I'm really on this side because Sean told Brian when he borrowed the money, my mother's coming from the vineyard tomorrow and she'll pay you. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this.
Did you have his money?
No.
All right, so
No,
when your
no,
son
no.
says, oh, my mom will pay you, then does he call you to get paid?
He didn't tell me for a while. That's
Right.
what Sean told him. That when
And
I
then,
came.
so who do you learn that there's this little rift between cousins who got along so well? Who do you learn it from, your son or
From Brian.
Through Brian.
Mhm.
And do you go talk to Sean and say, are you kidding me? Pay the man the 60 bucks.
Absolutely.
And what would Sean say to you?
I'm going to pay him tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's total.
Your mother's a liar?
No. I didn't say she was a liar. He's lying, stating that I told him that she was going to pay me the next
What
day.
did you say?
I just told him how it usually is. I need 60 bucks. When I get it, I'll give it to you. Because my mother lives on the vineyard.
Did you work at any point in time in the last year and a half?
I just started work three and a half months ago.
Okay. So do they? How much have you still haven't been paid $60 at work?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
I didn't hear you, Judge.
You heard me. The truth of the matter is you could have paid him before now. So I know there's something else going on. Because if the guy's sweating you for the money and he wants to get paid and he's your cousin and you have to be humiliated like this, then there must be a reason you didn't pay him.
It's just, I can't believe he's actually sweating me for $60 and going to take me onto court, national television court.
Okay,
$60.
well then I can't believe that you didn't just pay it and then avoid being here. Especially since he spent a year and a half asking you to pay it and so did your mother.
He's never asked me not one time for the money. You don't believe me, no?
No, I
understand.
don't, because your own mother says that she kept telling you that he was and telling you to just pay it.
That's why
and
I
that you
said-
kept telling her tomorrow the same way you were telling him.
Well, that's why I said once I seen my mother, it was a wrap.
It's a
Pretty
wrap.
much.
$60 verdict for the plaintiff.
Show me the money.
Well, it does happen that family members sue other family members for $60 when they want their money.
I guess.
So you shouldn't be so surprised that we're surprised that you made him drag you into court to do this.
With my mother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, why didn't you just pay it? This wouldn't have happened.
Didn't have it to pay. You can't get blood from a rock, sir.
You mad at your mom for going on the other side there?
Oh, well, kind of. It's my mother. I can only be so mad, but.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. All right.
All right, Sean.
Right down there. All right. Come on in here.
Thanks, guy. Just watch your step.
All right. So the judge rules in your favor. You get your $60.
I'm excited about that. I've only asked him. I filed the small claims when I found out that he had a job. I went right down there and filed that.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am.
You think he tried to stiff you, or?
Well, I notified him about 5 times. I left notes on his car. I saw him, and he kept telling me tomorrow. His opening statement should have been once upon a time. So I'm paid.
All right.
I
okay.
won. I'm happy. Thank you.
Harvey?
Okay, real short point. When money changes hands, there was always a presumption that it's a loan. The person who gets the money has to prove that it's a gift.
This is the plaintiff, Kristen Kroll. She says the defendant, her neighbor, at 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve crashed his van into her garage door, damaging it something awful. He did the neighborly thing and left a note claiming responsibility, but 6 months later hasn't fixed it or given her the money to fix it. She doesn't want to turn this into the Hatfields versus the McCoys, but she wants her $496, and that's just what she's suing for today. This is the defendant, Joseph Caldara. He says he was tired and had a lot of things on his mind and forgot to put his van in park, and it rolled into the plaintiff's garage. He's a handyman who came from Sicily when he was 12 years old with a hammer in his hand, and he told her he'd fix it good as new. But then he got a nasty letter from the lawyer demanding all his money. Bottom line, he's ready, willing, and able to fix the door and is just asking for a chance. He's accused of being a negligent neighbor.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff woke up on Christmas Eve to a crash. The defendant drove his van into her garage door and he won't pay. But the defendant says he's a handyman and he can fix it. It's the case of Mr. Handy Ain't So Dandy.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Kristen Kroll?
Yes.
You are suing your neighbor, Joseph Caldara?
Hi.
For $496, the amount to repair a garage door that, according to you, he destroyed, correct?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, sometime in the night of, I guess, the morning of December 24th, Christmas Eve, he hit my garage door. He left me a note.
Merry Christmas.
Right.
Okay.
He left me a note under my door, so I found it that morning explaining.
Where do you two live in relation to each other?
He lives above me. We live in a condo building.
Okay.
And then there's a row of garages behind the building, which is where my garage was. So he left me a letter under my door.
What was he doing parking at? Is his parking space next to your garage? I don't get it.
No, he does not have a garage.
Okay.
He just parks in the regular parking spaces. He hit my garage door.
Because the regular parking spaces are next to the garage door?
No.
Oh, okay. How did he end up hitting your garage door? Do you know?
That he would have to probably explain that to you.
So go ahead. He left you a note saying?
Saying that he had hit my garage door and that he'd take responsibility for it, to call him the next day, you know, being a very nice neighbor, explaining himself, taking responsibility. So I appreciated that. So I called him the next day, and he explained to me what happened. And
what did he say?
He said that he had fallen. He didn't put the car in park, and it hit my garage door, and that he was very tired, and apologized and whatnot. But so,
were you hitting the eggnog or late on gifts? Which was it that
Your
had you
Honor,
stressed?
Million, I'll be honest with you, I felt a little bit embarrassed about the situation.
How did you end up hitting the door?
What happened is that I got home like 1:45 in the morning. By the way, she was very kind about. She's very kind about me letting me use her garage anytime I wasn't there. Anytime she would not park, I was welcome to park park in her garage. And our parking space.
Were you going to use her garage that night?
Yes, because I had the permission from Miss Crawl for the last 2 years.
Are you looking at her face?
Well, she knows that. I hope she's not telling a lie.
there was several times, maybe 3 years ago, that he had asked me to use the garage. I went on vacation one time in January. It was a snowstorm. I said, you can go ahead and use it. That's fine. There were periodical other times that he'd asked me that. But as far as if you've been using it recently, I've had no knowledge of it.
Did she ever give you permission to hit it?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter that much. Don't get too hung up on
of course not, Your Honor. But
so go ahead. So what happened that night?
But what's happening is this, Miss Crawl. I welcomed her to our neighborhood. That's how we became buddies mostly. She knows that.
Welcomed her to the neighborhood.
But what happened is that I came home. I didn't see her car for 3 or 4 days or more. Okay, and I started worrying a little bit. She's my neighbor, a little bit. I even called her the next couple of days, and she said, "Thank you for the call," because I was wondering. So it was kind of cold. Since she doesn't park there as much, I felt like, I said, I wonder if her car is there. A lot of things into my mind. I was very tired, I'll be honest with you, Honor, and I only had 3-4 hours of sleep. No, not even.
Were you at a party?
No, not even that. No. If I have a beer once every 2-3 days, it's not enough.
Okay, so it's 1:45 in the morning.
Right?
It's not enough. Yeah,
I'm just joking. I said that just to make you laugh.
That was a little slip, huh?
I just said to make you laugh.
So 1:45 in the morning, and what happened?
So anyway, I approached the garage door within 4 to 5 feet away, and I forgot to put the van on park. So it was a neutral and the door was open. So I walked out and I went to use the code to open the garage door, the code, which I gave it to her when she moved. She didn't even know the code number. After 2 months, I even gave her the
your car into her
So
garage?
as soon
Did
as
you know
I started, Your Honor, as I started to push the numbers, all of a sudden I heard, boom, the car and it was too late. Real quick, I jumped in the van. By that time, I pushed the brakes, but I already had damaged the door.
Okay.
Right there. And thank God that the door still works up to now. Okay, I pressed the numbers.
Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, it was working. It's up and down. Yes, it goes up.
And thankfully it works because my car was in it at the time. So if it didn't
Your
work,
car
my
was in
It
it?
was, yeah. And I was just taking a guess, because she actually told me out of her own kindness.
Look, girl, change your code.
We have, well, perhaps she didn't know, or maybe we didn't know they could have been done, but nevertheless, Miss Paul, she actually told me, Joe, you're welcome to park the car anytime you see my car outside, out of her own kindness. She actually told me that many times, more than once.
Oui.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, so I know you appreciate it, and you're welcome to the neighborhood, but why haven't you fixed your garage door? This happened on Christmas Eve.
One time I said to her, and things weren't going well that month. Okay, business was down and a little slow. I didn't have much funds.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a traveling salesman, sportswear, and my friend does silk screen printing, and I help him out. So what happened is that as months went by and days went by, but I told her that I would fix it, right?
If you said you would
That's
fix it.
That's fabulous, but why didn't you fix it?
It just never happened.
How are you going to fix it?
Well, here's the story. Then I offer, as months went down, forward, I said to her, I says, listen, I says, Kristen, I said, would you give me the opportunity, I says, to try to fix it 75, 85%, I could probably do it myself, or with her boyfriend now that he's back, his boyfriend is living there now. I even asked her again one more time. She says, no. She says, I want my door replaced, the whole door. I called the maintenance man that works around the condos there, and his estimate was going to be $335 over the phone. And he never mailed it to me for one reason or another.
All right, so did you ever say to him, yes, you could fix it yourself or no?
No.
Okay, so you told him, I don't want you fixing it.
I said
according to you, you're a handyman,
Also, Your Honor,
Are you a handyman?
Yeah, I could be. I'm a pretty good handyman.
You're
Also,
very
I
handy.
offer $50.
You came from Sicily with a hammer in your hands, is how you phrased it.
Your Honor, it's not the case. I even offered $50 not too long ago. I was willing to make restitution little by little. And she says, no, she says, I talked to my brother.
You hit
because
it
her
all at
brother's an
once,
attorney.
pay it all at once.
But I even try my best. And
Do you have an off button?
They call me a liar to her
Do you have
brother.
an off button?
Do I have what? Excuse me?
Press the off button on you.
So does she have a duty to let him try and fix it in the first place?
No, I think that she can get her own bids. She doesn't have no obligation.
But does she have to give him a shot at fixing it first?
It would be nice if she did and gave him a chance to try to fix what he did wrong.
Why? He's an amateur handyman.
That's why he's a handyman. Come on now. He's gonna make some dollars. Yeah, definitely. Give him a chance.
Wow. You would not.
I will.
You would not. Going inside the courtroom.
All right, so you tell him, no, I don't want you fixing it yourself, and then what do you tell him? You get an estimate and you tell him this is what you have to pay.
Well, then he said, well, we could have, how would you feel if I replaced 2 of the panels and I hammered out the 3rd one myself? And I said, no, I'm still not comfortable with that. I want everything you repaired to be new.
Everything you damaged
And then
to
he
be
said,
repaired.
well, how about this? I'll have them replace 2. I'll hammer the other one out. And if you don't like that, I'll have them then replace the 3rd one for you. And, so either way, if I said I didn't like it.
And then he went out and got an estimate because he says he got an estimate for 3 something.
Fine.
And then what happened?
Then-
It's a little bit like my house on the weekends. The honey-do list at my house, honey do this, honey do that. And then I tell my husband, okay, it's the weekend, you're gonna fix this now. And he looks me right in the eye and says, in many ways, you and I are very different. Honest to God, this is what he says. I'm like the gentle manatee, getting there eventually. You're like a shark, always in motion. Relax, we're on break. This is a union shop. I'm having a cup of coffee. These are the things he says to me on the weekend. She gave you all these months to get it done, and you didn't get it done. How much more patient do you want her to be?
Well, I had other priorities prior to this, and I was hoping...
Who's not being a good neighbor?
I was hoping, Your Honor, I didn't have enough funds. Otherwise, Kristen, she knows very well that I would have taken care of it, but...
Okay, listen, Mr.
I didn't need
Caldara,
to be
she
called a
cannot
liar.
deposit your I would have taken care of it.
But
She
I
can
didn't-
only deposit money. So you have to either take care of it, or, all these months you could have been putting that $50, $20, whatever, and then before going to court, before she lost her patience, you would say, here's $300, here's $400. You could have tried something. You had an estimate for 3 something. You should just taken care of it. You didn't. Now we're going to go by her estimate, which is eminently reasonable, $496, verdict for the plaintiff.
And so the judge has ruled for the plaintiff here. This is the defendant. What happened?
What happened is
What happened?
everyone heard about what happened is that I damaged my neighbor's door, and things happen in life, so.
Yeah.
And that's it.
How was it that it got all the way into court? Why didn't you go over there, fix the door, do whatever?
I didn't
do
think he
whatever
was
you-
going to come here, but nevertheless, I'd like to say something. I appreciate everyone that is involved here that made this happen possible, and we both are winners. every end has its beginning, and every beginning has its end. We all have to, be aware of things, And I was hoping they would have been on my side. The judge did not rule it on my favor. So, and life goes on. I would have bought maybe some extra cookies at a party with my friends. And
Okay, good.
shoes.
All right, right down this way. All right, I'll help some McIntosh over there. All right, so there he is. There he goes. What's it like being his neighbor?
It's interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah, never a dull moment. I'm just glad this is all over, and hopefully that's the end of anything. So.
Well, don't you think he had your best interest in mind if you maybe given him a chance? He says you didn't give him a chance.
I gave him 6 months. I think that's more than a chance.
Oh, come on, give the guy a chance.
Oh, okay. You give him a chance.
All right. Harvey?
I gotta tell you something. Even if this guy were a professional handyman, the best handyman in the world, she doesn't have an obligation to use him to fix the garage door. She can go out and get a reasonable estimate, and he's gonna have to pay no matter how good he is, no matter how well he could have fixed that garage door.
This is the plaintiff, Desta Krupa. She says she took out a line of credit for the defendant, her neighbor, so she could buy Christmas presents, and now can't get her to pay her bills. The woman refuses to give her the Xbox and iPod she's paying for every month. She's learned it doesn't pay to be nice and is suing here and now for the full $571.67 she's owed. This is the defendant, Marie. She says the plaintiff let her use her line of credit to buy an Xbox for her son, and she was making payments every month. But something happened with the credit company, and they refused to accept her payments. She told the plaintiff to call them to straighten it out. She never did, and here they are. As far as the iPod goes, that was a gift. She's accused of saying nay to a neighbor. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $500 for harassment and emotional distress.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome,
Desta Krupa?
Yes.
You are suing your neighbor Marie, and who is Edna to you?
My grandmother.
Okay, and Edna, for $571.67 that you say is the remaining balance owed for some electronics that you purchased on her behalf for her son for Christmas. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, in December of 2014, the defendant had come over to my house and
December of 2014?
Right.
Okay.
And saw a Geddington book, on my counter and wanted to order something for her son.
Saw what book?
She saw a Geddington book.
What's Geddington?
It's a catalog that you can order, like, any kind of electronics or anything. And she's wanted to order a few things for her son for Christmas. And I said, well, I'll let you do it as long as you pay for it.
Wait, she wanted to order it on your credit?
Right.
Why didn't you just tell her to buy it herself?
Well, at the time, she didn't have the money for her son, and I said, well, it would be payments, each month. And
This is a terrible idea.
I know. It said, as long as you pay and keep up the payments.
Yeah, as long as we have a name for people like you, though. We call them litigants. You end up in court trying to get the person. If the person is buying something she can't afford and she doesn't have her own credit to do it with, there's a reason.
Right.
Right? There's a reason.
I know.
If other people won't extend credit to her, then why are you doing it?
Right.
How's your credit, sweetheart?
I don't have that good of a credit, Your Honor.
Okay. How do you get no good credit? How does that happen when your credit's no good? It's by not paying.
I know.
And so it's Christmas, right?
Right.
Oh, he's such a good boy, and you wanted him.
And
He
me
helps
being
you
a
around
nice-
the place, so you wanted him to have a good credit. Except for here's the thing. Mom needs to buy her son a gift mom can afford. You see? Because that's a terrible message to give the kid. You were paying payments on this for a while.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. How much in payments did you pay?
From...
No. Give me a dollar figure. You want me to do the math, but I want you to do the math. How much did you pay?
$430.
You're not even sure, are you? Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive. I calculated it up, and it was I'm going to say
$430 on an item that costs what?
$537.67.
And yet the balance is 500 and something.
I was paying, like I said, consecutively, and my card was on file to take the payments out. I paid more than asked for, so I can hurry up and pay it out. And then in August,
that's barely hurrying it up.
And then
you were paying payments for how long?
November to August.
Right. And you're basically paying $40, $50, $60 every month.
90.
And the fees and the interest was about that much. I mean, do you not see this, folks, that it makes more sense to wait 5 months to buy it and have the money in your hand? It's called patience and saving, right? And then you can afford to buy it outright, because by the time everything's said and done, assuming you kept paying and weren't here, how much are you going to end up paying for a $500 Xbox and an iPod? You're going to be paying like $1,000-something, over double what it is that the thing costs. That math doesn't come into anybody's head. Oh, we got to have the Xbox. Gotta have the Xbox. How old's your son?
He's 13. He wanted it, and other neighbors around the neighborhood buy him gifts as well because he is a good kid.
Buy him gifts as well? What are you saying, that this was not your gift to your son?
No, the Xbox was the gift to my son. The iPod was a gift from her, and I was paying on the Xbox until they said we won't accept the payment. So when they wouldn't accept the payment,
why wouldn't they accept your money?
For some reason, I have no idea, because I have consecutively had been paying, and then 1 month they wouldn't accept the payment.
All right, so say how are you going to prove that? How do I know you didn't just pull your card or close out your debit card and stop paying?
She should have that there. She should have the information, because it's her account.
Why don't you have the information?
Because it's her account, so I couldn't do nothing. If they wouldn't accept the payment, they're not going to accept talking to me.
Do you have any record proof from them that she tried to pay and they wouldn't accept it?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I had called Geddington, and they said they would accept the money order as long as my account number was on it, and I handed her the card.
So she told you pay by money order. Why didn't you just pay by money order?
She waited 3 months before.
What difference does it make? On the third month, why didn't you pay by money order then?
She waited too long, so I felt that all the late fees and all that, she's older, more wiser, so she should have known it. She didn't want to ruin her account, so get on top of it, so there wasn't no late fees, and I can still
what's
pay.
wrong with you? Why weren't you paying her bills for her?
Not
while
her
everything
paying,
was being
not her
straightened
paying
out.
the bills, but her talking to
Sweetheart,
them.
where there's a will, there's a way to pay. Okay? If you can't pay one way, you pay another way. The fact that she didn't figure out a way around your payment problem is her problem?
No.
Because she's older and wiser. She's foolish because she extended your credit where nobody else would.
I had things to return to the store to upgrade, and she said she would take over the DSI and pay
Stop!
me
I have no idea what you're saying.
$150.
Stop! I don't know what you're saying. I had things to take to the store to upgrade. What does that mean?
He didn't want the things. No, he was willing to give up a tablet, DSI, and other electronics, a PSP. So I was bringing them to the store, because you can bring them to the store and you can get money for them.
In order to apply towards the Xbox?
To give money towards the Xbox.
Okay.
She said, "Don't give the DSI." She brought me to the store. She said,
"What's
"Don't
a
give."
DSI?
It's a game, and I decided I would buy it from her, so I paid the first 3 payments at Geddington for her.
In order to recompense her for the DSI.
Right.
What's it called?
A
D
DSI.
as in dog, S-I?
It's a DSI. It's another electronic.
It's another electronic.
It's like
but
we're going back and forth making deals, and the deals just didn't happen the way
I don't know what you're talking about. The only part of the deal that didn't happen was you finishing paying off. I don't know what you're saying. I'm looking at this. She agreed to pay your first 3 payments. She did. That's how your balance got lower. And then you made payments for a certain amount of time. And then one day, the way you chose to pay didn't work, and you didn't get on it and fix it. How old are you? When you say she's older and wiser, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Oh, okay. So you're not 10. So then there are other ways to make a payment. Okay? At worst, you should be going to her house and handing her the money. Okay? You should be figuring out something, and you're doing nothing to pay. And your defense is what? Because I can't hear it.
My defense was the cops told me not to do anything because it was in the court's hand, and I couldn't return her the merchandise.
Your defense on why it is you weren't paying before she had to file a lawsuit against you.
I was paying,
what?
and I have the proof right here that I was paying.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So your neighbor says, hard times, and can I borrow $500 or so? And they have bad credit. Would you do it Christmas time?
I would like to, but I'm a college student, so $500 doesn't...
Suppose you were making a decent living, but still you had to work.
Okay, yes. If it's Christmas time, yes.
So are you doing it because you're going to give it to him, or you really expect to get paid back? See, I ask good questions sometimes. Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Probably not, just because giving money to people, friends or family complicates.
Okay, well, so they say to you, God, what a crappy guy you are during Christmas to hurt me like this way. Will you stand up to that?
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Okay.
I would say no, straight up giving them $500, but I'd be like, hey, let's go shopping. And then we could pick out the stuff, and the spending wouldn't get out of control.
Okay, 3 different views. I got an opinion about this going inside the courtroom.
When was your last payment?
In August. And
when did you file the lawsuit against you?
4 months after that.
Okay, and for all those months, September, October, November, December, 4 months later, for all those 4 months, of course, since you're supposed to pay, right? You took the money, the $50, $40, $60, and you put it in a drawer and you saved those 4 months and then handed her $200, right?
I tried handing her money at one point and it didn't get paid, so I got charged for late fees. That's why I had proof that I had to pay late fees.
You tried handing her money, and what happened when you tried?
She didn't pay the bill as she said.
You handed her money, or you tried handing her money?
I handed her money.
You said I tried handing her money. How much money did you hand her?
2 times $40.
Did she hand you 2 times $40?
No, she didn't. She didn't hand me any money. I kept asking her. I even had the late fees.
You have a neighbor who helps you out for Christmas. What is your defense, Ebenezer Scrooge? What is your defense? I'm having such difficulty. If your defense is, Judge, I can't afford it.
They even removed.
Can you just say it? If that's what it is?
I said I couldn't afford it. I was willing to return it, but the cops and her harassing me and doing all that. To return the property in the other court, and she thought.
Wait. What do you mean return the property? She needs the money to pay it off. What is she going to do with an Xbox?
She told me if I returned the property that they would take it back.
Do you have somebody to use the Xbox?
They sell refurnished things.
Who wanted to buy it?
That was going to take over the payments, and I kept asking her.
And she wouldn't give it.
She would not give it back, and I had called the cops one day, and the cop.
Who's Edna?
She's the one that has the Xbox.
Who's Edna?
My grandmother. It's her grandmother that has it now.
The Xbox?
Yes.
Yep.
Why doesn't the kid have it?
And the iPad.
Why doesn't the kid iPod,
yeah.
Why doesn't the kid have it?
The kid has it. He's at my grandma's house.
The plot thickens. When did the kid go to grandma's house?
About 2 months ago, the cops let him come in my house and take everything out my house when they knew the property wasn't mine. And like she said, she did call the cops about this incident, and we were trying to handle it.
How long had your son been out?
Out of where?
Of your home. When he came back with the cops.
He's just been out the last 8 weeks.
Who arranged for him to come back with cops? He's 13. Your grandmother?
No, the cops handed him.
Did the courts take your child away from you?
The cops gave my daughter the house keys to my house, and my daughter and my son went in the house and took the Xbox and any other
How did the cops have your house keys?
Because I was arrested.
What were you arrested for?
I think all that is irrelevant. It has nothing to do
I'll be
with
the judge
case.
of that, won't I? What were you arrested for?
Domestic abuse.
Of?
Slapping my son.
The 13-year-old?
Yes.
Was the son taken away from you as part of a family proceeding?
I believe so, yes.
Have they decided the custody issue?
There's a temporary custody going on.
In the hands of your grandmother?
No, not my grandma. DCF. How can I give back something that I don't even have?
You could have given it back before that, and you don't have to give it back. What you have to do, that was one way out for you didn't take. Paying her is one way out for you have no proof of taking. Writing a check is one way out you didn't do. Money order is another way out you didn't do. And then now the kid has it. Yeah, now you can't give it back. So I guess you should have taken advantage of that when you could have. You have a counterclaim against her for $250 for harassment and $250 for emotional distress. Tell me about that.
As my son would come out of school, she would harass him. Every time I leave my house or get out of my car, she would come harass me. She came to my house demanding.
What does harassing mean to you? Demanding payment?
Just yelling. No, nothing have to do with payments. Just yelling about how bad of a person I am, chasing me to my friend's house, arguing in my neighbor's house, calling my landlord, bringing the whole neighborhood involved into this, kicking my car, throwing stuff at my car.
Back it up. She kicked your car?
Yes, she did, Your Honor.
Did you call the police?
No, I didn't. I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth and call the police because I knew she was already taking me to court. So why make the situation? They're just going to waste their time.
Why should you get $500 for harassment and distress?
I had to see my psychiatrist more because of her harassing me.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you had $600, you would have paid this off to stop the bleeding, right?
Right.
You don't have $600.
No, because I'm on disability.
If you don't have $600, maybe you shouldn't be loaning.
I know, I made a mistake. I know, fool.
Based on what I have heard, I am ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $571.67. And on your counterclaim against her for harassment and emotional distress, here's a surprise, 0. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, first out of the courtroom, the defendant is right here to tell us what she thinks of the verdict.
Judge Miliano is awesome, and she knows what's best.
So how'd you let this happen?
No comment.
You do appreciate that she was there for you when you needed something, wanted something, and she had the cash in hand to help you out. You know how this looks?
Obviously horrible.
So correct. How is it not what it looks like? You get the last word here.
I don't have nothing to say.
All right, so step on in here. It took a judge to bail you out of this situation. Why were you in it in the first place?
You know what? It's just trying to be nice to people and help them out, but I think I learned my lesson the hard way. But I'm really, happy with the judge's decision.
You know what the lesson is? What's the lesson?
What's the lesson? Don't lend money.
Don't help out with credit
Try to help
anymore
people
either.
out, be nice to them, and that's what you get.
Well, don't lend
not
money.
Not everybody's like that, but you try
I've always
just
had
be
a
nice
good
to a
heart,
kid on Christmas.
Don't lend money that you don't have.
That's true.
Right.
Harvey?
Credit card, yeah.
Okay, Kurt, look, I gotta say, what I would do is, I would do it if I really cared about these people and wanted to help them. I would have no expectation of getting paid back. And that's the way you need to do it going in.
This is the plaintiff, Karina Carullo. She says she foolishly charged a bunch of Christmas presents on her Amazon card for the defendant because she's such a nice person, and the defendant's reneging on his promise to pay her back in full. Now, she's being charged all sorts of interest on her account. The defendant's ignoring her, blocking her from his social media, and she's here in the good name of the law, suing for every penny of the $942.67 she's owed. This is the defendant, Michael Beaver. He says the plaintiff and his ex-girlfriend at the time made a deal to buy some stuff around Christmas, and they've since broken up. His ex took most of the things she bought. He's paid the plaintiff half of the total amount, even though he doesn't even have half the stuff. And if anyone owes the plaintiff money, it's his ex-girlfriend. Certainly not him. He's accused of not settling up.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff charged Christmas presents on her Amazon card for the defendant, and the defendant stiffed her. But the defendant says the plaintiff made the deal with his girlfriend. They broke up, so she should go after her. It's the case of Amazon woman.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Carullo, you are suing Mr. Beaver for $942.67 that you say he owes you for money that you fronted for his Christmas presents to his kids, and he's never repaid you, fully repaid you. Correct? All right, what happened here?
I knew the defendant from my ex-boyfriend, and his wife and him had split up, and he was staying with his, at the time, girlfriend, who was a friend also of mine, and they were talking about Christmas, and they didn't have a Christmas tree.
How did you all know each other?
Through a motorcycle club.
Are you a member of the motorcycle club?
I'm not, no.
Was your
My
now
ex-boyfriend was.
ex-boyfriend at that time your boyfriend?
Yes.
And was he a member of the motorcycle
He
club?
was.
Okay. What's that tattooed on your chest?
Sometimes it sucks to be a soldier.
Okay, and why?
Because of stuff like this.
No, but meaning a soldier in what war? What are you talking about?
Just in life.
Okay.
In life in general.
All right, go on.
But yeah, I knew the defendant from the motorcycle club, and I was over at him and his girlfriend's house, and they didn't have a Christmas tree, and it was a few days before Christmas, and they were saying how they were going to have money, they just didn't have it now, and I had offered to let him use my Amazon card, first we went and got a Christmas tree from Walmart, and his girlfriend at the time had offered to pay me back for that, and he said if I use my credit card that he would pay me payments until he got his taxes, and then he would pay me in full.
Okay, so you were bringing Christmas to the household.
Yes.
And he was going to pay you back. And what did Christmas consist of for the household?
Well, he actually got some beds as well because they were in a 2-bedroom condo, and he has 4 daughters, and I got bunk beds, mattresses. We got the daughter's shoes, all them shoes, tablets. I think they got a PlayStation.
Nothing says necessity like a tablet and a PlayStation.
Exactly.
And if he doesn't have the money to pay for the stuff, there's a reason.
Well, no, I mean, he had worked as far as I had known. He had always worked. I didn't.
How did you know that?
Because he was during club events. He would be coming from work and stuff like that.
Okay, so he's out of a job at that point.
I didn't know that he was out of a job at that point.
She didn't tell you?
No,
Were you out of a job at that point?
No, ma'am.
When did you lose your job? Did you lose your job or no?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
When did you lose your job?
Second week of December.
Okay, so, second week of December, that comes before Christmas. When were you buying the Christmas gift?
He was currently at work when we placed the order. He still had his job that day, as far as I was concerned.
Okay, can I ask, what Christmas are we talking about? 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So he pays a few of the payments. He pays $250. He's supposed to pay $250 every month.
Until he got his taxes.
Did you have anything in writing with him?
No. We placed the order. We were on the phone with him.
Do you have any emails with him or anything?
I have lots of messages on Facebook where, after he had quit making the payments. Where he said, he's lost his job, then he was starting a new job.
Let's see those. What happened here? Why aren't you paying up?
Well, Your Honor, everything's true all the way up to the agreement. I didn't even know the purchases were made until after the end of my shift. She made all these purchases while I was
Except
at
for
work.
this, some of these purchases involved shoes for your children.
Yes, ma'am. I don't deny that.
Right.
The purchases were all made.
But see, they can't purchase the shoes without asking you what's your kid's shoe size. How does she know all your kids'
That was my girlfriend.
Okay.
So she went over there and ordered the stuff while I was at work. I wasn't even home.
So what is your premise? Your premise is that you didn't agree to any of this? Is that your premise?
I didn't have any knowledge of the order until after the order was already placed. I had asked for a couple of days to try, and I was trying to sell my motorcycle.
What difference does it make? You had the couple of days. Did you make the money and then pay back the order? No, right?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. All right. So I don't think you're telling me the truth because I then saw you pay $250 a month for a while. So
I paid almost up to $900 of it.
Yeah, exactly. For a guy who says, hey, this is my ex-girlfriend's problem. By the way, she wrote a letter to the court. She hates you.
Good.
What'd you do to her?
I left.
Okay. I can't even read most of the stuff, and she knows she's writing to a judge. She's a piece of work. I am writing this letter on behalf of Karina Carullo. I was in a very short-term relationship with Mr. Michael Beaver, a.k.a., I won't use the word she used, from October 2016 until January 2016. Mr. Beaver had full custody of his 4 young daughters under the age of 10, in which I ended up taking full responsibility for due to him moving them into my home when they were left homeless. They were all infested with lice and other issues that I was forced to treat. When Christmas time came around, he had been in and out of jobs and was unable to provide a Christmas tree for his children. For months, I'd been providing for his family of 5 in my 2-bedroom condo, and his friends and club brothers were aware of this. Therefore, one of the old ladies or wives, Miss Carullo, you weren't married to...
I was not.
But that's what they call you, old ladies? That's so
they call
cliche.
me. I
It's so
didn't call me
cliche.
that. It is.
Offered to help him with Christmas for his children. I had nothing to do with this club as I was a newcomer. He proceeded to take the invitation, and with direction from Mr. Beaver, I met Miss Carullo at her place of work to order gifts for his children online. Mr. Beaver was on the phone with us when we placed the order. Is that true?
It is.
Okay, and what was he doing on the phone with you?
We were finding out the sizes. I also wanted to make sure...
Sizes of what?
The children's shoes.
Okay.
And what kind of items he wanted us to get, and...
like meaning brands, meaning what?
No, just what sizes, and we were just trying to stay relatively cheap because there's 4 children, and we wanted to get them beds. We tried to stay relatively cheap, and I also wanted to make sure he was, aware of the exact total before I processed the order.
Okay, how many bunk beds did you buy?
Two separate bunk beds
so
and
that
mattresses.
Each kid would have a place to sleep. What happened with the bunk beds?
I don't even have them.
Why
I
not?
have one set.
Why?
My ex kept everything. She kept a set of the bunk beds. She kept the 2 oldest kids' shoes because she could fit them. She kept the tablets. The only thing my kids left with was one set of bunk beds, a couple
What was so
pairs of
nasty?
shoes
What was the
my
reason for the
youngest
breakup? She sounds like a woman scorned.
Her son passed away. My son passed away 2 years before that. I went to a dark place and I couldn't take anymore. I lost my son 2 years prior. It went to a very bad situation, and for my safety and my kids' safety, I left.
Yeah,
that's what the relationship ended for.
Say that?
Her son was murdered. So.
Her son was murdered?
Yes, ma'am.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Cut her some slack. When does he stop paying?
He actually gave me, when his taxes came, I asked him about his taxes. He kept making excuses with that. He said he would give me another payment. I told him there would be late fees, and that's all in the Facebook messages as well, where he said, I'll pay any fees, I'll pay any late payments.
Do you have the actual statement so I can see what you are out?
I do. I have this, I kept a ledger.
No, not your handwriting.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just you saying
My
the same thing you're
statements?
saying in court.
Yes.
I want the actual statement so I can see what you're out.
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you pay it in full?
I paid everything. I paid the minimum payments because I was getting worried towards the end when he quit making payments and all the excuses he was making towards paying another payment. I got nervous because I didn't want it to affect my credit or so I started making.
So he would pay you $250, but you would pay a minimum payment of
no,
what?
I paid whatever he paid towards the end when he wasn't making any. I
Then
was
you
making
started paying the minimum
because they
payment.
charge the late fees. It's Amazon.
So you
credit card.
avoided the late fees, but you were charged the interest.
Towards the end, yeah. After in July, when I told him, interest is going to start accruing because they backdate it for whatever. I had a financing promotion
where you had to pay every month in full, otherwise you'd be paying
If it was-
backdated interest. I just
right.
need to see proof of all the things
I
you're
have a
saying.
statement. I'm sorry. Yes.
So if you're not supposed, so if your testimony is, hey, this is between my ex and her, I have nothing to do with this. Why is it that you're answering on Facebook messages saying, I'm trying to find out where my check is right now. I'm working on it, honey. I promise. As soon as my check comes in, I can't even buy gas or anything. Why is it that you're saying, I'll pay?
Because I did feel I owed some of it. I'm not going to say
Well,
that
you
I
don't
wasn't
say I owe some of
entitled.
it. You
I
say
wasn't.
I'll pay. There's nothing about some of it. They're your kids.
Further down in the messages, there are things of that nature saying that I don't
when you
even
finally
have the
decided that she
possession.
should be left holding the bag? Are you still in the motorcycle club?
No, ma'am, I left.
Are you still, you're not like an old lady in the
No, ma'am. Prior to him leaving,
You
I
sure
asked
that tattoo around your neck doesn't mean something else I don't know about?
Yeah, I was very short-lived in the club. I have known.
When did you get the tattoo? This is so permanent.
Yeah, they are. I actually got it.
Yeah, the others, it sucks to be a soldier is kind of,
I mean, it just had a
Well,
lot.
does that mean something? I don't know.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
What's it mean?
So if you loan money to somebody and they stiff you, does it deter you from being charitable in the future?
On the short-term basis, yes. After a while, times heals, and then you tend to forgive. But
Fair enough. So what do you say? I mean, it's kind of a human nature question. Does it deter you from being generous to somebody in the future?
For me, yes, but I would learn to forgive.
You're what?
I would learn to forgive them.
Okay. Anybody? One more.
Not really. It depends. So I will make a contract next time.
Oh, that's smart. Very smart. That's good. Going inside the courtroom.
Her ex was accused of involuntary manslaughter when a man lost his life at her clubhouse. And that's where that tattoo came
But
from.
why does that make her a soldier?
Because she was involved in it. All their personal life that was going on at home. She went out and got that tattoo 2 days after he was arrested.
But how does that phrase mean that as opposed to...
Sucks to be a soldier. She was part of the soldier of the black and blue. That's what it was. She was part
What's
of that.
a soldier of the black and blue?
Member of the club. She was there. She was always with us. Every time we turned around, she was there. If there was something going on and an old lady needed to be attended, she was there. She was one of them. She was part of, she showed up to every event.
So
She
what
showed
does
up to-
what does the phrase mean? It sucks to be...
That's her corner phrase. I don't know where
So
that
you
came
don't
from.
know. That's not
I know
a
it
thing.
came right
Okay.
after the incident with her ex.
Okay.
And it was directly related to that because she come to my house after that with him.
Okay. Listen, any problems you have with your ex, the property that she didn't return, that's a different lawsuit for a different day for a different judge between you and your ex. I have one case in front of me, and that's that when you couldn't provide Christmas for 4 kids, somebody stepped up to the plate, and that's the person who got left holding the bag. And when I see evidence of you paying the $250, begging for more time, acknowledging that you owe a debt, thanking her for her generosity, and all of a sudden, what now, when you and your ex aren't getting along, all of a sudden, yeah, you're on your own. How would that be appropriate or fair or right? It's not. That's the answer to that. So show me all of your statements.
I just have the one.
Why do you just have one when you're suing on all?
I just want the money that he owed me from the balance. The late fees that he agreed to, there was the 2 that
Which
he
are what?
agreed to, $25 each.
And those he agreed to in the Facebook post?
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And?
And $83.23 in interest.
I'm going to award you that as well. I think that's appropriate because if you're having to use your money to pay his payments, That's not appropriate. I'm ordering him to pay you the $634.44, that's the balance, the 2 late fees that he acknowledges on the messages, and the $83.23 in interest payments, for a total of $767.67. Verdict for the plaintiff. Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's going to get over $750 back. Mr. Beaver, what's your reaction to being sued? This case goes back quite a ways. It's an old story.
Jealous. I don't know. I honestly can't tell you.
Why do you say jealous? She's out money, you know? That's not jealous.
It wasn't my money. I didn't sign a paper. You didn't see my signature on anything. I didn't agree to it. I was at work, just like I told her. I wasn't even there when the purchases were made, so how am I responsible for it? I don't even have half the possessions that I'm supposed to be paying for. So now I get to go home and pay for possessions that are not even in my house. I have to go home and pay for a pair of shoes that aren't even on my kids' feet. I'm not happy. I'm ready to leave. You have a great day.
You can go. Okay, that way. All right, Ms. Carullo. Kind of a mess, huh?
Yeah.
You finally decided to come to court after a long time.
Yeah.
6 months, no payment from him.
Correct.
This was your only choice, right?
Right.
Okay. This has been sad. Have you learned anything from this? I bet you have.
I tend to help people a lot in situations, especially when kids are involved, and I'm starting to realize that it's not always such a good idea if the parents can't provide. There's usually a reason why. So,
you know, you might be right. Yeah. It's sad, but you might be right. Thank you very much.
Thank
you must
you.
sign a few documents. And Harvey?
You know what, Doug? I was going to talk about, how you protect yourself. She actually said it better than me, so I'm leaving it at that.
This is the plaintiff, Todd Mussini. He says he was driving home one afternoon when the defendant's dog jumped into the road. He hit his brakes hard as he could, but the dog was killed. The defendant was understandably distraught and he felt bad, but there was nothing he could do. Unfortunately, his front bumper was smashed. There was dog hair on it from the impact, and he's here today suing the defendant. For the $2,090.73, he's out. This is the defendant, Heather Wilhelm. She says her 11-pound dog, Cody, ran into the street on Christmas Eve and was killed by the plaintiff. The plaintiff's now suing her, but she found out he collected from his insurance already and is now trying to take advantage of her during this most traumatic time. The poor dog can't even rest in peace because of this nasty man, and he should be ashamed of himself. She's accused of not paying for damages. The defendant is filed against her for $5,000 for the cost of her purebred dog, missed work, and pain and suffering.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Is it Muccini or Mussini?
Either one, Mussini or Muccini.
Which do you prefer?
Muccini.
It's your name.
Muccini.
Muccini. Mr. Muccini, you are suing Ms. Wilhelm?
Yes.
For $2,090.73 that you say it's going to cost to repair a vehicle plus rental fees in order to do that. You are counterclaiming against him $5,000 for the cost of your dog as well as pain and suffering and harassment. Okay, let me hear from you, Mr. Muccini.
On December 24th, I was on my way home. It was about 4:30 p.m. at night. About a mile away from my house, a black dog leaped into the road from the opposite side. Unfortunately, I hit and killed the dog.
How old was the dog?
He was 10.
10. How did he get loose?
He was out in the yard playing with my son, and my son went inside to go to the bathroom, and the dog ran across the street, and he got hit.
Right.
And was killed instantly, I believe.
So what happens?
I stopped the vehicle. There was a person in front of me and in back of me. All three of us stopped. They saw the incident. There was a young girl that lived up the road a little bit. She came outside. It was very cold. She had no coat on. She's shivering. I said, "Whose dog is this?" She said, "It lives across the street." They were playing. She said, "They always play." Okay. I like dogs, animals. I've had some. I felt terrible. I went to my car to get my cell phone because I was going to call the police.
Okay.
And that's when they came across the street, put the phone down. I could tell it was her dog because she was in tears.
Right.
Totally understand that.
Right.
So the son picked the dog up. They went across the road. I apologized. I got back into my car, and one of the people stopped me and said, "I hate to tell you this, but your front bumper's all smashed." So I've got pictures of the bumper. I got those from the police. They took them. The car was 3 months old when this happened. I just purchased the car. Okay. So I drove my vehicle over to their house, knocked on the door. The son came to the door, and then the father came. I said, I hate to say this to you. I know I apologize for the incident. I said, but my car is smashed. I know it's going to be somewhere between
I might have waited a few days.
Well,
and because I know where they live, and I can do the same knocking on the door a few days from now rather than on Christmas Eve. But okay, go on.
I wanted to let them know there was damage to the car.
Why? Because their Christmas Eve hasn't been ruined enough, by the death of the dog.
Mine wasn't very happy either.
I'm sure you weren't, but it could wait. You know what I mean?
He started telling me, look, I don't know if this is from my animal or not. I left. So I left, I went home, called the men and police.
Well, I guess that's certainly a reason to tell him at the moment, so he can see it and know that you didn't make it up.
Correct. So I left and went home, called the men and police. They said, come back tomorrow on the 25th, which I did, filled out the police report. They took the pictures, and I asked them, I said, is there a leash law in the town? They said, it's not a leash law, but everyone's supposed to be in control of their animal.
That's really what it means. You have to be in control of your animal because this is what happens.
Right. So I called my insurance company up. They came and looked at the vehicle. There was $1,597.26 of damage, and then there was $493.47 for the car rental.
Why so much for the car rental?
They couldn't get the parts. It's a brand new car.
Let me see the paperwork from them. That's what you actually paid?
Yes, for the car and the rental.
Talk to me. Who was there that day? Both of you? Come on up. Go ahead.
Not really sure where to start. It was Christmas Eve. Like I said, my son was outside with Cody.
How old's your son?
He's 5. My husband.
Oh, God. It just gets worse and worse.
They were playing out in the yard. He went in to go to the bathroom. So I actually didn't see the accident. And when we came outside, we went up, my 21-year-old son and I went up to the top of the street. And I did not pick up Cody. My son did. So it was myself, my 5-year-old, my 11-year-old, my 21-year-old, and my husband were in the backyard digging a hole for Cody when the plaintiff pulled into the driveway. My husband went up to the car and he had stated that he was going to go to the police department. And my husband said, you know, you do what you need to do. I'm going to go take care of my family at this point. So,
are you the husband?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see the damage?
Never.
Well,
you didn't walk out.
I never saw anything.
Weren't interested. Got it.
So we buried Cody and we went into the house. And about an hour later, the doorbell rang. And we were like, who could that be? And it was the plaintiff. So he came to the house a second time on Christmas Eve. And my husband asked him, you know, why are you here?
What do you mean an hour later?
He pulled into the driveway originally and told us he was going to the police department.
Because of the damage?
Because of the damage, or because of the accident.
And then he came back after that?
He came back again an hour later. He came up to the door. My husband answered it at that point. And he said, oh, you know, I need all of your information of your homeowner's insurance. And my husband said, well, you know, can we see the damage?
Right.
And the plaintiff at that point said, oh, I brought that car home. I don't have it.
Wait, you went back with a different car?
My brother was with me. I didn't want to drive. I wanted him to see the damage of the car, but I didn't want to drive the car, so I left it at home.
Right, but how many times are you going to knock on their door on Christmas Eve?
That was it. Twice.
Go ahead.
My husband asked to see the damage. He didn't have it. At that point, my husband asked him to leave our property. A couple of weeks later, I did receive a letter from his insurance company. So I called them and I had asked them if I could.
Can you hold on a second? Because I don't even understand the bills. You have one bill for $991.
That's for the car.
Right. Then you have another bill for $495 auto bond invoice. 1 3M film, 3M paint protection roadblock system.
That's a plastic film that I had put on the car originally. That's why the bumper wasn't shattered into pieces. There's on the plastic film that I put on my vehicles.
Can I see it in the pictures?
You can see it on the pictures.
Okay, yeah. So tell me what you're talking about there. I'm going to send it back and you show me what you're talking about. Show me there what it is that was an additional $500.
There's a plastic guard on the front bumper. So you have the bumper, then you have a piece of plastic wrap that goes on the bumper. That's why the thing didn't shatter. I mean, you can see a little piece of the plastic here, but in these pictures, I can understand. No, you can't see it here.
Okay. You said I could see a little piece of it. Can you point out where? And what's the purpose of it anyway? Because if you got to replace it anyhow, what difference does it make if it shatters or doesn't?
It's to keep rocks and bugs from pitting the paint.
All right. You were starting to say, and I'm sorry I interrupted you because I didn't understand the damages to begin with. But
I was saying that I received a letter from his insurance company a couple of weeks later demanding both our homeowner's insurance to pay $442. I called the insurance company.
Let me see that letter.
Absolutely. I actually received 2 of them
let me
with
see
2
both.
different prices. So the first one that I received, I called the insurance company and I said, I would like to see the damage. I have not yet seen the damage, and you want me to pay for something. And they told me from privacy laws that I wasn't able to see the damage.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
So I said, well, in that case, I guess I'll see you in court. I'm not paying $492 for something I hadn't seen. I then received a second letter from the insurance company. I then called and I was very upset, and how do you go from $400 to $1,500? I don't understand. I can't see the damage. You won't show it to me. They don't really give you a lot of answers.
Right.
So at that point I said, well, I'm still not giving you my homeowner's insurance. I would rather pay out of my pocket at that point than put a claim in.
Right.
I didn't hear anything back from them.
And here we are.
Quite a while. No. I received a court order from the plaintiff to come to court. So at that point, he was asking for $2,000. And I was like, how does it go from 14 to 2? So now I'm very upset. So I took it upon myself to call the insurance company from those paperwork. And the case was closed, and he was paid $1,098.62. So I really don't know why I'm coming to court, because he was
going
paid.
on with that?
So I have a $500 deductible, which I paid. So I'm out of pocket $500 plus court fees, whatever that, $100. So I'm out $600. My insurance company needs to be reimbursed. So all this would have been really easy if they just gave the homeowners.
It was never easy.
Right.
It was never easy for 1,000 reasons. It was never easy because it's never easy to lose a pet. It's not easy to lose a pet with children witnessing it. It's not easy to lose a pet on Christmas Eve. People usually get incensed when they find out you killed my dog but he didn't kill your dog. Your dog ran into his path that his car was going. And, you said things in your answer to the complaint, like my dog can't even rest in peace. Your dog is resting in peace.
Well,
You're just getting sued for money because you guys, not the dog. The dog is a dog. The dog did what dogs do.
Right.
It's that you're supposed to be supervising, and you're supposed to be in control of your dog.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So is it wrong to go to somebody's door after your dog dies and say, your dog hit my car, I want money? Is that wrong?
Yeah, because it's a traumatic event, so they're probably like...
No doubt they are devastated. What do you think?
I don't think it is, because that dog, for the owners being negligent, that could have caused that guy to get in a car accident, could ruin this car, and he deserves to get what his rights.
And no doubt he deserves it, but does he have, is the timing bad?
I don't think the timing is bad, because it happens all the time, and I think he has the right to get what he wants. So he does
when he wants it.
When he wants it.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
The whole idea of the rental car bill does have me a little concerned. I'm going to cut that back. But everything else is it is what it is. So let's see what we got here. 16 days. I'm not going to order this. See, here's what your right is. Your right is to have them pay any reasonable damages that flow from the bad act. The bad act is the dog is loose and runs in there, causes an accident. But I'm going to order rental payments for 7 days, because looking at what I'm looking at, I don't see why it would take longer than 7 days, which means that on your claim against them, it's the cost to repair the vehicle plus rental fees that I'm authorizing, which are $188.93. Now let's talk about your claim against him. You're suing him for $5,000 for the cost of your dog and pain, suffering, and harassment. I assume that was frustration on your part, because you do understand that he is not responsible for any of this, right? Okay.
I do.
Your counterclaim is you lose. All right? Verdict for the plaintiff, $1,786.66. That's my judgment.
you.
All right, so here comes the defendant. This must have been difficult for you.
It was.
Yeah. How difficult was it?
It was Christmas Eve. My 3 children were crying their eyes out. The dog got loose. It was our fault. We understand that. But everything that he did leading up to today was a little sketchy. So,
What's the worst part of it? Was it what happened out there in the street, or was it the way he acted afterward?
well, obviously the worst part was losing our beloved dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was 11 years old. He was our baby. So my children don't know life without him. So it's been a hard adjustment. But his actions after,
Could have made it a little gentler, right?
yes, it
Sonia?
feels like salt was poured into our
okay.
wounds.
All right, head right around the corner this way. Let's see what he has to say about that. First of all, your feeling on the outcome of this case here?
You know, it's never a good outcome because I like dogs and animals. I felt terrible about the accident, but again, if you own a dog or any type of animal, you have to be responsible for it.
What about your actions afterward? The stuff she objects to, the family stuff, the Christmas Eve, and all that.
You know, I
Could you have
understand.
handled it differently?
You know, probably, but again, you know, unfortunately things happened. I thought it was the right thing to do to let them know that there was damage to the vehicle.
All right, Harvey, tough situation.
You know, the bottom line here, Kurt, is that you have a legal duty to control your dog, and the result here is obviously right.
This is the plaintiff, Jay Contrastano. He says he and the defendant worked together, and that guy got sick at their company Christmas party and threw up all over him. His 100% wool suit was stained beyond repair. It was a disgusting mess. He wants to buy a new suit, which will cost him big bucks, and he's suing for the $1,135. He's now out. This is the defendant, Michael Broshue. He says he felt ill from the drinks at the party, and he ran into the bathroom, but didn't quite make it to a toilet, and he threw up on the plaintiff. The plaintiff told everyone at work what happened. It made him look stupid, and he had to be reassigned. Bottom line, the guy had the suit cleaned. It has no stains on it, and this was just an unfortunate accident, and he owes nothing. He's accused of losing it.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn.
Okay, Mr. Contrastano,
Correct.
the two of you work together, correct?
Yes.
What kind of business are you in?
Construction. I'm an
Do you work
electrician.
for a construction firm?
Yes.
Both of you?
Yes.
All right, the same firm.
Yes.
And you've been working there how long?
The better part of 20 years.
And how about you?
6.5.
Okay. So, company Christmas party.
Yes.
Yeah. I love those. Drinking, revelry, inappropriate, whatever. All right, so what happens? You do a little drinking, do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, a lot of drinking that day.
Enough.
And enough to make you sick.
Yes.
It wasn't the quality of the drink that got you sick, it was the quantity of it, right?
Yes.
All right, so
That
what
with
happens?
the food too. I was just overstuffed, we'll say.
Oh, it was the food?
Yeah.
It wasn't that you were wasted?
No, I was drinking too.
Okay, so what happens? You actually, to your credit, you're trying to make it to the bathroom.
Yes.
And what happened?
I started getting ill at the table, so I ran to the bathroom, and obviously I didn't make it to the toilet.
And what happened?
I puked in the back of his suit.
Of all the places in the bathroom you could puke, why did you end up puking on the back of his suit? I guess that's...
It was like projectile. Like there was no more holding it.
There was no more holding it. So it was, do you actually remember this? Because that had to shock your system at that minute. So.
Yeah, for the better part, I do remember it. But
So what did you do so you're just minding your own business, doing what people do in there?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden someone comes in and blah?
Well, I saw him walking away from the open bar with his hand over his mouth like this and his cheeks puffed out like this.
I thought you were in the bathroom when it happened.
No, I was in the bathroom ahead of him, but he was only about 10 steps behind me. I thought he was going to keep going straight to go outside and lose it out there, but he didn't. He went into the bathroom about 10 steps behind me. He tried to get into a couple of the stalls, which I believe were occupied. He turned around and came back.
I don't know how you're not plastered against the wall, trying not to be in the range of... So he ends up losing his cookies on the back of your jacket?
Yes.
Because this was a nice event, everybody was all dressed up?
Yes.
All right, so he throws up on you, and what do you say or do?
Well, I got out of the bathroom as quick as I could and took my jacket off and saw how bad it was. Of course, I was angry, but there was nothing I could do. I mean, even if I wanted to fight him, it wouldn't do anything. It wasn't going to clean my suit.
Why would you fight him? Why would that be what you pulled out of your grab bags of possible solutions?
Yeah, I know. Well, people told me I should have done that, but...
Why? What would that solve?
Exactly.
That's silly.
Exactly.
You're a grown man. Don't be
Right.
silly. Go on.
Right. But at that point, one of the waitresses came over and gave me a bag to put it in and said, take it home and get it cleaned, and we'll clean it. We'll pay for it.
Who said that?
The waitress.
Why? That wasn't her fault.
I don't know, but...
All right, so what happens?
Well, I couldn't get to the dry cleaners till Monday afternoon. So this happened Saturday night. So it sat in my car for 2 days. There's nothing I could do about it. I don't know of any dry cleaner that's open 24 hours.
No, there are, but anyway, so go ahead. So you could take it there on Monday, and what happens?
Took it there on Monday. I picked it up on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's on the ticket.
Okay.
And they showed me that they couldn't get all the stains out of it.
Did you try somewhere else or just
No.
that one place?
No,
All right,
thought...
Can I see the jacket?
Sure.
And he wouldn't let me take it to the spot I wanted to take it to.
Well, first of all, when you sober up, what do you...
I went and apologized to him again at work.
Were you
And I offered-
mortified?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, I was embarrassed. It's not like I purposely went and threw up on him.
Okay, what are all these circles? Is that what somebody has circled?
Yeah, I had the dry cleaner circle what he saw.
All I get to see right now are a bunch of circles, though.
So that's what I'm saying. I couldn't. He showed me the suit. I can't see any stains either. What's good from here?
I guess what's bothering me is that I'm looking at something where someone has gone, like, it's hard for me to see the actual deficit unless...
should brush right off.
Excuse me. Unless I'm looking at something that has, look, this is as clean as it gets. Instead, I have somebody drawing all over it. You say this brushes right off?
Yes.
Oh, brush it all right off, will you?
Okay.
So now you had a very direct hit on the back of his jacket. How much of your jacket was puked on?
I mean, it was just a front, like there's lines coming down, puke.
All right, were you able to get it out of yours?
Everything came out.
Let me see yours. And what dry cleaners did you take that to?
Oh, it's Hourglass.
Okay.
And my suit doesn't cost anywhere near $1,000.
No, it doesn't, sweetheart. But that is not indicative of how much someone else's suit costs. I don't know. We're taking a look at that now.
I can see a big stain.
Show me where, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Can we bring the jacket over here, sir? Could you come over here?
Certainly.
Go ahead.
They are hard to see, I know they are, but there's one right in here.
Where?
It's darker there than it should be in this area here.
Okay.
I know the light has to be on it just the right way. There's one in here. There's one right here. I can see one here.
Yeah, I can't see them, but I got to tell you, I do see, like, all of this is dark like that. I don't know that has anything to do with his projectile. Go ahead and go back.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Is the plaintiff entitled to a brand new suit?
I'd go with he's not.
Because?
I mean, he was at the party too. He was most likely probably drunk, so.
Most likely, probably. Okay, the suit's got a tiny bit of a stain on it.
Doesn't matter. Still deserves a new suit.
Does deserve a new suit.
He does deserve a new suit.
New suit, no new suit?
No new suit.
But what about the stain? If you have do you have to live with the stain knowing somebody grossly threw up on you?
Sorry, throwing up is a bodily function. Could have happened to anybody. He tried. Got it clean. Stain didn't come out.
I love you. You should be on Saturday Night Live. Throwing up is a bodily function going inside the courtroom.
So now let me ask you a question. How old is this suit?
The suit is approximately 4 years old.
Do you have a receipt?
I don't have a receipt.
How am I going to value it if I can't depreciate it from a known figure? I'm looking up the make And I presume even this one maker has a variety of prices. Yeah, it depends on which suit, you know. Where did you buy it?
I believe I bought it online.
Then you should be able to easily get me a receipt. Why don't I have a receipt if it was online?
I couldn't find it.
Okay.
Could I ask one question, Your Honor?
Yes.
The suit I have on is 18 years old, and this was an $800 suit also.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to buy quality and not anything less than that because they last.
Right, and I believe that. The problem is that used suits don't go for that. You understand? And when you are in court, what you're asking for is the value of the item at the time of the loss. That means it requires the court to engage in depreciation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, for example, if I go to eBay now and someone's selling a Gianni Manzoni suit, would you like to see what they go for? Used?
New?
No, not new. You don't get replacement value. Used. They go for very little. They go for 140. They go for, this one's going for 70. I don't know why that one's so cheap. This one's going for $49.95. You understand? So it's going to be a lot less than what you're asking for.
Right, but the point is I don't wear them that often. That's why this one lasted me 18 years.
But how do we know those are my stains that I caused?
Please.
But it's true. He could have stained at
Who is
any
the
time.
lovely lady that you've brought with you to court?
My grandmother.
Oh, you must be so proud. All right. What are you suing for? Lost wages? Jeez. Are you two still working in the same place?
I left because he was just harassing me the whole time.
Harassing you how?
Well, for one, he brings a sheriff to work to come serve me papers. He never asked for my address. He could have just sent them in the mail. But
I believe he wanted to embarrass you at work. You're a bit much.
Then he goes to the general contractor. I have a voicemail of my employer calling me saying that he won't stop calling the office.
Why don't they fire him if he's being such a pain? Why did you ended up leaving?
Yeah, I left to a different job site.
But for the same employer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to leave.
There's a bunch of different job sites.
So they just assigned you elsewhere.
Yeah, a new one.
All right. All right.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Do you have proof of what the dry cleaning cost you?
Yes.
Can I have it?
Sure. I would like to know how I harassed you.
How did he harass you? I would like to know too.
Well, he just would, pretty much I couldn't do my work because one, he told the whole job site. So now everyone all the time.
Everyone knows you puked. It was a Christmas party.
Yeah, but.
What do you think, that people don't know what you did?
Well, no, it's not just our company there. Everyone's there. But before I knew it, everyone knew. So now I can't even do my job because everyone's coming up to me
And what, and laughing?
Laughing, like just making stupid jokes. Like, I don't know.
Okay. It's the 2320?
Yeah, I believe that's it, yes.
Okay. Okay. I invite you to go online and see what used suits go for. I'm going to take into account that you seem to take very good care of your suits. But I also have to take into account that I have zero idea how old this suit is because you haven't brought me a receipt. So this is the part, you already got your hand on the door.
Oh, I know where you are.
I'm asking you questions still. What are we doing, Douglas?
Well, I feel a little rough justice.
That is exactly right. I'm going to award you apparently a very generous $150 on the jacket and an additional, in fact, that's just calling it the whole suit ruined, and an additional $23.20 that you had to pay to get it fixed, for a judgment in your favor in the amount of $173.20, not $1,135. Good luck, folks.
So, Mr. Brochure, you're going to have to end up paying him $173.
Yes.
The value of his suit. You okay?
I'm okay. I just still don't feel like I owe him anything, but.
Well,
I do now, so.
Yeah, you do. Come on. And why'd you bring your grandmom to court with you today?
She wanted to come.
I volunteered to be moral support.
Okay. Did she help?
Yeah, she helped.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that's the way it goes. Be careful next Christmas party, okay?
Yeah. No drinking.
Very good. No drinking. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Well, my goodness, you wanted $1,100. You're getting not even $200.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Not good.
Not good at all.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the suit? Can you still wear it? Will you still wear it?
No, I'm not going to wear it. It's got stains all over the back of it.
Why didn't you bring some receipts? Try it at least.
If I had the receipt, I surely would have brought it. I could not find it anywhere.
Really? The judge thinks you could have gotten it online. Would have helped. Anyway, okay. Good
Okay.
luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, here's the deal. You're entitled to the depreciated value of the suit at the time of the loss. That's the law. It may not be fair. That's the law.